Welcome to Season 4, Week 1 of Football Fridays in Georgia here on GPB. Tonight, we're at Peachtree Ridge High School where the Lions will host the Tigers of Archer.
And legendary UGA football coach Vince Dooley is in the house. He's wrapping up GPB Radio's All Things Football broadcast. We'll talk to him live next.
I'm Matt Stewart. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll take a look at the top recruits in tonight's ballgame.
And I'm Larry Smith. We'll also tell you what to look for tonight here at Peachtree Ridge.
So we've got Lions, we've got Tigers, we've got a very famous Bulldog. The All Access Pass is coming up next, live on GPB. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Football Fridays in Georgia's All Access Pass pregame show. Tonight we'll kick off a great season here at Peachtree Ridge High School as the Lions take on the Tigers of Archer.
And we are going to have a fantabulous season ahead. It's 15 action-packed weeks that you are not going to want to miss. So we have 11 weeks of regular season play, then 4 weeks of playoffs, and then 7 championship games we will bring you live from the Georgia Dome. And Mark, do you smell the barbecue that is coming from the stands?
You know, there's a lot of great smells. I smell the barbecue. I smell the grass out there. That's a very special smell here in late August and in September as you get to play high school football in the great state of Georgia.
And it's very hot out here, so later we're going to be smelling the players too. All right, well, it is the first week of the season, but you guys have already been letting us know what you think about these lineups this week. We want to check in with our social media correspondent, Grace Olson. She's going to tell us a little bit about what you guys are talking about. Grace?
Claire, I can't think of a better way to start off Labor Day weekend and a jam-packed season full of Football Fridays than right here in the Lions Den. If you haven't already joined the GPB Sports family on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you need to now because we're keeping you updated all season long on high school football in Georgia and all year long. As a matter of fact, we had updates rolling all summer. And right here, I've got some photos of the Lions and the Tigers. They take their Animal Kingdom pride very seriously here. Let's see what they were posting on Twitter this week. Actually, hold on one second. The glare is kind of bad out here. Let me pull up some photos. Let's see. Hold on with me one moment. Okay, here we've got surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. Sorry, it's very sunny out here today. And everyone wants to be a beast until it's time to do what real beasts do. I also saw a photo on the Facebook page of the Archer Tigers of a tiger butting up against a lion. So these guys are serious. They're ready to go, and I've seen it all week long on social media. So join the crowd. Back over to you, Claire.
All right, it is a great privilege now to welcome into the program the longtime coach and athletic director at the University of Georgia, Vince Dooley. And Vince, take us a little bit back in time a little bit. What was it like when you played high school football?
Not like this, I can assure you. What a change. You didn't have the technology. You didn't have the coverage. I think we only filmed one game the whole year, so that's a little bit quick example of how it's changed. But what has not changed is the excitement, the adrenaline, the getting ready for the game, and just being out here tonight's got me all psyched up for tomorrow.
I'm psyched up as well, and you know the Dogs have a big game tomorrow with Clemson, but talk a little about the talent level at high school level here in the great state of Georgia.
Well, I was just looking at the warm-ups. I mean, I could tell from the last time that I went and watched high school football, which has been a while ago, tremendous amount of talent just out here watching. And a lot of it in receivers. We've got some great athletes catching the ball. And that's kind of the sign of the times because all of these 7-on-7s that we have tournaments around the country, we're seeing that in college football, and we saw a lot of it last night in the South Carolina-Texas A&M game, which was absolutely amazing to me. Quarterback at first game over 500 yards throwing the football. But it's pass, catch, and run like the Dickens.
You know, you did an awful lot of recruiting of high school football players. What did you look for in a recruit?
Well, talent, you better be looking for talent, but at the same time, you need to balance that off. The better the talent, the better the student, and the better, more importantly, is the character. And if you can get all that together, a good student football player with character, you got a gem.
You know, you look out there, there's all these young men. They're getting ready to play this season. For the senior, it'll be their final years. I mean, it's just a great, great experience.
Oh, it's exciting, and as I mentioned, my adrenaline is flowing now like it hasn't in a good while because I hadn't been to a high school football game, and y'all do a terrific job in bringing this to the people that just love football in the state.
Well, Vince Dooley, thanks so much for coming on live with us, and
you.
thanks for being a part of Football Fridays in Georgia.
I'm proud to be here.
All right, one of the greatest Bulldogs of all time, Vince Dooley. Let's send it over to Claire.
All right, thanks, Mark. The Peachtree Ridge Lions, they are headed into the locker room for one last time before they head out onto the field tonight. And Grace Olson actually went with them on a unique training experience that's going to get them ready for this game tonight. Let's send it over to Grace.
That's right, Claire. These guys, it's not all about up downs and running on the track. They say that those exercises aren't really their favorite, and who says bouncing off walls can't be just as much conditioning as those up downs, running around along the track, doing push-ups. So I spent the day with them at a very special place to Suwanee. Check it out. The water splashes, the kids play, and the people look alive. Parks, restaurants, and arts scattered about the town have become signature Suwanee. But Suwanee hasn't always looked like this.
It's very rural around here. We have the Suwanee Grill, one place to eat. We have some old buildings on Main Street that are still existent.
Believe it or not, this railroad stop was once a bustling Suwanee staple, connecting Southern travelers to Atlanta. The railroad put Suwanee on the map in the 1800s, but now it's the parks, the art, and the football. There's a whole lot of history behind the old town of Suwanee, but in 2014, there's this, Sky Zone, the world's first indoor trampoline park. These out-of-the-box exercises keep the Peachtree Ridge football players in tip-top shape.
Push up, let's go. And you don't realize how hard it is until you sit there and watch them do that. I guess the ground's constantly moving when you're on these trampolines. The explosiveness and all of that it takes to continuously do the large reps. I know I've heard our players talking about all the classes they have over here.
Travis Bowers, one of the Lions' best athletes, sees Sky Zone as more than just fun.
Most guys hit the gym real hard, like weights. I like to come here, because I can jump, work on my quickness, my speed.
He loves it. He's a free spirit, and the good Lord has blessed him with a lot of athletic ability. Travis! And I told him when he got out of the car, this is going to be very abbreviated. No, and he was going, come on, Coach, let me go. And you can see he jumped from pit to pit if you would let him.
The nature of Sky Zone, is fun, it's fit, it's safe. You can have fun and be fit at the same time. Well, doing a workout on the trampoline, it adds a lot of resistance.
I feel like the building up of the leg muscles can help me with tackling people and running around and getting to the ball and getting there quicker.
Go! Come on, let's go, let's go!
You would not expect a football team to come here, but it's definitely a workout, and it helps everyone for sure.
Ready? Down! Down! Down!
It's fun because you're doing stuff you like. I don't like doing up downs, and I don't like running on the track in the heat. So I think it's fun coming out here and running, and just doing a lot of stuff that makes us happy. And we're doing it as a team. We're not just individually doing it. And we're sweating because we have fun.
After Sky Aerobics group conditioning, it was game time.
When I'm here, just feel like I'm 5 years old. Just having fun, just who cares? Just have fun and be yourself.
We're all friends, we can come here together, hang out, we can play dodgeball after. It's all about just pushing ourselves to get the goal of making it to state this year.
Hey, thanks, Grace. We have a new play-by-play team this year, a couple of veteran guys, and Matt Stewart and Larry Smith. Time for a little segment of Chalk Talk that we call Extra Point. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Mark. There are three critical areas that we would like to address before tonight's ball game. Larry, let's start with the quarterback matchup. Archer likely will not have their starter, their number one. Gabe Tiller injured his shoulder. Will Bearden, the junior, likely gets the start. Peachtree Ridge, on the other hand, has the veteran Chance Thrasher under center.
Yeah, and he's outstanding, a guy who really works really hard. The coach has really seen him really mature as a leader, about 6'3", almost 220 right now. He's a guy a lot of Division I schools are looking at. I think it's obvious he's the starter. he gets the check mark for that.
Yeah, Thrasher has gained nearly 50 pounds since he arrived as a sophomore transfer. Game experience we're talking about this season. Archer's already got a game under the belt. They lost at the Sandy Creek. Tough loss. Probably could have won that ball game. Peachtree Ridge, this is their opener.
Yeah, and it was funny, too, the Peachtree Ridge coach was talking about, we played in that first game before in the Cal, and I'll be honest, it really doesn't really give me much of an advantage. I think we disagree. The first game jitters out of the way for Archer. They're still a very good football team. I think we give the advantage to Archer on that one.
But Archer cannot commit 8 penalties and 4 turnovers like they did last week. Pressure defense. Andy Dyer, Archer's coach, says Peachtree Ridge really likes to gamble. They're going to bring the blitz. We got to be able to handle that and take advantage of it and hit big plays.
Absolutely. At the same time, though, Archer, we know they're going to have to actually force some turnovers. They couldn't do that last week against Sandy Creek, but still, I think you're right. We like that defense right now, and I think we give that edge to Archer as well.
We go with Archer right there, and of course they're going with the backup quarterback, but their offensive line, a veteran offensive line, been playing together since their sophomore season. So, Claire, back to you.
Thank you so much, guys. One of the big things they didn't mention there that might be a factor in this game is staying cool and staying hydrated with these high temperatures. It's something that coaches, trainers, everybody emphasize to these players, and it's probably something that you need to keep in mind as you work out in these warm temperatures as well. So now joining us is Dr. Robert Hamilton of Cigna, and we are going to talk a little bit about water. So thank you so much for being here, first of all.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, so it's something that everybody thinks they know, but what do you think is one of the big things that people forget?
I think people forget to hydrate ahead of time. I can't overemphasize the importance of starting hydration an hour, hour and a half before a strenuous physical activity, whether it's jogging, weekend warrior kind of things, or whether it's these young men putting on pads and helmets.
And especially in the heat of Georgia, how much of an impact does that have versus maybe up north?
It's huge, and in fact, we've had a fairly mild summer, so people may underestimate the need to do that. They may have gotten away with things for a while, but lately we've gotten into the real heat, and it's critically important, much more so down here than in the Northeast.
All right, you already talked a little bit about pre-hydration, making sure you're drinking water before you go out and you're active. But what about water versus sports drinks? I know there are a lot of people who just want to drink that Powerade or that Gatorade because they don't like water. But is there a difference?
It's really not a matter of fact which is preferable. I mean, as long as you're hydrating, that's the key, whether you use water, sports drinks. If you're going to be exercising for a prolonged period of time where you're going to lose a lot of electrolytes, a lot of sodium, you're sweating heavily, you may want to replace it with a sports drink. But as far as the everyday athlete where you're just working out or going for a run, water's fine as well. The main thing is some kind of fluid.
All right, and these guys out here tonight, how often should they be taking a break?
They need to be getting hydrated and making sure they're hitting the water or the sports drink probably every 15 minutes or so, more when they're coming out of the game, and definitely want to hydrate. The last thing we want to see is anybody having to go to the locker room and get an IV. That's really not proven what a great athlete you are. It's really you're behind the dime on that.
Okay, so you're talking about when things start to go wrong, when you haven't been drinking enough. What are some of those warning signs that parents maybe should be looking for or you should look for in yourself?
Right, whether it's yourself, the athlete, the parents, you want to be out looking for headaches, nausea, beginning to cramp. That's usually the first sign, particularly for strong athletes like this, is you're going to have muscle cramps, and that's the time that you really need to immediately try to hydrate.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Any other last-minute tips you think that people need to remember?
Well, I think people need to remember that in the old days, we used to think it was a sign of strength to not hydrate. You try to see how far you can push your body. Your body runs on water, and it doesn't want to be pushed like that. It will perform better if you hydrate well.
All right. Dr. Hamilton, drink the water. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Mark, back to you.
I can hear all the great noises, the bands, the cheerleaders, the fans, everybody getting fired up for this high school football game. Let's check in with Grace Olson now with another look at social media. Grace?
Thanks, Mark. I hear these guys. They're all right in front of me. The music is awesome. They're loud. There's blue everywhere. Now, we're here tonight because of all of your guys' love for high school football. And with that in mind, we're sharing viewers and the players' favorite football memories. South Carolina commit Kyle Davis of Archer told me that his favorite football memory was when the team was playing East Coweta last year. They were down by 3. The ball was fumbled on the field goal. He got open, caught it, and ran in for the touchdown. And standout quarterback Chance Thrasher of Peachtree Ridge told me that his favorite football memory is when he did a front flip in the Georgia Dome to seal the win against Walton in 2013. Now, speaking of Chance Thrasher, this guy came into his sophomore season weighing 170 pounds. Now going into his senior season, he's weighing 218. I spoke with Mark Fleetwood, the head coach, about how he's done this the healthy way, and that interview is available at gpb.org/sports and also on Facebook, so make sure to check it out. Mark?
All right, Grace, thanks so much for that, and we appreciate that. Across the country, high school graduation rates are at the highest they've been in 40 years, but here in Georgia, the numbers are significantly lower.
Yeah, in 2013, 3 out of every 10 students in our state did not complete high school in 4 years. And one of our missions here at GPB is to raise awareness of Georgia's high dropout rate and to help students find programs that will keep them in school. So here at Peachtree Ridge, students are actually taking the lead and putting their faith in a little hope.
Mind if Hanson goes over?
Hand in hand, students at Peachtree Ridge High School are working together to untangle the secrets to success through a group called HOPE, Hispanic organization promoting education.
What did you guys feel like we learned from that?
Tatiana Patino is the chapter president. She says the organization is all about encouraging students to excel through workshops and group activities.
We try to focus all of our meetings on a specific lesson that's going to help students in school and then getting to college.
So we created this organization for you.
Angela Hurtado is one of the co-founders of HOPE. She and a friend started the organization at North Gwinnett High School 5 years ago. Since then, it's grown to 17 schools around the metro area.
There are a lot of resources available, but sometimes Latino students need a little bit of a push to make sure that they're on the right track.
Hurtado says that's because sometimes Hispanic students' parents didn't go through the U.S. education system and don't know how to help their children navigate high school or college. That's why HOPE focuses on 3 main pillars: education, community service, and leadership.
Success would be measured in graduating from high school, which is education, community service, making sure they have that passion for the community, and at the same time that they're developing the leadership skills to truly be the cream of the crop wherever they go.
And for senior Aldo Bustamante, it's working.
One thing that they always promote is like leadership, so I feel like I've become a little bit of a better leader.
While HOPE is designed to help students like Bustamante with college applications, scholarships, and the SAT, Patino says it does something even more important.
If it does anything, at least it encourages people to come to school. And just knowing that someone believes in you, I think is also a great encouragement. And we've heard it from our members that are like, I didn't care about school until I started coming to HOPE, and this really changed my life.
A message the group hopes to share with students of all races all over the state.
Hello everyone, this is Angela. We are at Peachtree Ridge High School in their first HOPE meeting. There's everybody behind me. They're having an amazing time. And so, as we like to say, HOPE, breathe it, live it, love it. Woo!
Archer High School also has its own chapter of HOPE. For more information on that organization, you can visit hopestrong.org. And we want you to help us here at GPB tackle the issue of keeping kids in school to get that high school diploma. So we have a great contest we are bringing back this year. It is called Stop the Drop, and we want you to help us get out the message. So here's how you can get involved. Make a 30-second video showing us why students in your community drop out and how we can all help encourage them to stay in school. At the end of the season, we'll highlight the best videos, and then people will vote for their favorite online. The winners will get a great prize. You'll get to see your video on TV. Plus, if you come in second place, you're going to win a prize of $500. If you are the grand prize winner, you're going to earn $2,500. That's a big, big increase from last year's prize, so you better get those videos in.
You know, it's fun giving out the $1,000 prize last year. It's going to be a blast giving out $2,500.
Oh my, and that makes a big difference for these kids who are trying to encourage their peers to stay in school, and then maybe can put that money towards college or towards even, you know, helping out some of their friends.
You know, that was a terrific story. Well done.
Thank you. Those kids are great.
Right. All right. Coming up next, John Nelson is going to make his first appearance of 2014. John's Georgia is on the way.
Plus, Matt Stewart is going to join us. We're going to talk recruiting. It's a big thing. We will be right back. That and much more as Football Fridays in Georgia's All Access Pass continues right here on GPB.
Football Fridays in Georgia on GPB is made possible in part by Regions Bank.
It's time to expect more. Georgia's Electric Membership Corporation, lighting the way. Technical College System of Georgia, learn more, earn more. Cigna, go you. And viewers like you, thank you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you. Cigna.
This is 88.5 FM, Atlanta's news source for your news and information.
Good morning. Let's start the conversation. What's on your mind, Atlanta? We want to hear from you.
The news and information you've been looking for is here on 88.5.
From Peachtree City to Piedmont Park, from Norcross to Decatur, GPB Atlanta is the source for stories from your community.
All news, all information, all day.
Are you willing to give a helping hand? Enter GPB's video contest. You could win a cash prize and make a difference. How can you help stop the drop?
Welcome back to the Lions Den. Welcome back to Football Fridays in Georgia. Welcome back to our All Access Pass pregame show as we get ready for this Peachtree Ridge Archer football game. We now welcome in our new play-by-play man of the year, Matt Stewart. And Matt, you're always on top of the world of recruiting, and that's very big in this state. And so we're going to start with some of the players taking part in tonight's game. We're going to start off with Archer's Connor Redmond.
Well, let me tell you, if you are a fan of the South Carolina Gamecocks, you're also a fan of the Archer Tigers. Connor Redmond tops the list. He's a tight end. Unfortunately, Connor's not going to play tonight. He's got a back injury. He'll miss his second consecutive game. But a three-star tight end, number 32 tight end in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. What I mean by that, that's a composite of the 24/7, the Rivals, Scout, ESPN, all the major recruiting organizations. So he's number 32 in the country, 6'5", 225 pounds. But unfortunately, Connor will not play tonight. They hope to get him back in time for their region schedule, which starts against Parkview in a couple of weeks. Now, he's not the only member of the Archer Tigers that is committed to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Kyle Davis, you're going to want to watch this kid. He's just a junior, playing just the second game of his junior season. He is already committed to the Gamecocks. He chose South Carolina over 15 other offers, including Florida and the University of Miami. He's the number 13 athlete in the country and had 33 catches for 11 touchdowns last year. As a sophomore, had 3 catches for 107 yards and scored on their very first play of the season last week. Unfortunately, they were not able to give him the ball enough.
Now, there's a couple other guys, Jameis Williams and Isaiah Pryor.
Both those guys are sophomores. What's interesting about this ball game, Mark, is that there's a very deep sophomore recruiting class on both sides of the ball. Jamias Williams is the number 8 athlete in the country in the sophomore class. And the number 5 safety in the sophomore class, Isaiah Pryor, he plays spur for Archer, but he was offered by the Georgia Bulldogs just 3 weeks ago.
All right, let's talk a little about the home team, Peachtree Ridge. They got a good one in D'Angelo Gibbs.
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about with the sophomore class, and the two guys we're going to highlight right here are both sophomores. D'Angelo Gibbs is the number 5 overall sophomore in the country, according to 24/7 Sports. Regardless of position, he's the number 1 sophomore cornerback in the country. He's the number 1 sophomore prospect in the state of Georgia. He's been offered by Georgia, Bama, Florida State, Clemson, South Carolina, Tennessee. Remember, he has not yet played the first game of his sophomore season, and he's already been offered by all those teams, most recently offered by Ohio State just 2 weeks ago. And, of course, Ohio State has a very strong connection to this Peachtree Ridge program.
Absolutely. Talk about some of the other guys going on, because you got Balin Buchanan and Chad Clay, and they have very famous fathers.
Absolutely. Let me also, and so does Connor Hayward. He's the other sophomore in Hayward. Of course, he is the son of the late Iron Head Hayward, who played in the National Football League, played with the Atlanta Falcons, great fullback. His brother Cameron was a member of the 2006 state championship team here at Peachtree Ridge, went on to star at Ohio State, now a defensive end with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so, yes, Connor, just a sophomore, hasn't played his first game of his 10th grade year yet. He's already drawing interest from, you guessed it, Ohio State, Georgia, programs like that. Balaam Buchanan, his dad, of course, big play, Ray Buchanan. He's already committed to following his father's footsteps to the University of Louisville. He's just a junior cornerback. And the other big play on this team is Chad Clay, son of big play Willie Clay, started Georgia Tech, played in the NFL, transferred from Walton, had 39 catches as a wide receiver last year, and the number 20 cornerback in the country as a junior.
Folks, if you like recruiting, this is your guy. He's on every single week with us here on All Access Pass. Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it, Mark.
All right, over to Claire.
We would like to say thank you to our host tonight, Peachtree Ridge High School. So let's check in with John Nelson for a very special presentation.
Special indeed. Thank you very much. It is time to introduce someone who's going to be with us all season long. Thanks to our folks at Cigna. Rachel Freeman, the marketing director for the Mid-South for Cigna. Dr. Jeff Matthews, the principal at Peachtree Ridge, for a very special presentation. Rachel?
Hey, thank you, Dr. Matthews. We are so excited to be part of GPB Sports this season and most delighted to present you with this check for Peachtree Ridge High School this year. Thank you very much.
Dr. Jeff?
Rachel, thank you very much. On behalf of the Peachtree Ridge students, faculty, and all of our Peachtree Ridge community, I appreciate your generous support of all of our programs here. We will certainly put this to good use. Thank you very much, Rachel.
All right, thanks to both of you. We'll be catching up with y'all as the night goes along. Let's send it back over to Mark and Claire.
John, thank you very much. We will be back with more All Access Pass right after this timeout.
Stay hydrated.
Georgia cotton farmers want you to know cotton is grown in 91 Georgia counties on over 1 million acres. Cotton makes a $2.5 billion economic impact and accounts for over 15,000 jobs in Georgia. Cotton's innovative production has lowered water use per pound of cotton by 75% since 1980. One bale of cotton can make 215 pairs of denim jeans or 700 towels. Cotton is a natural choice for...
Let's go down to John Nelson, who's having a whole lot of fun. Is that John Nelson, the conductor? Yeah.
I grew up in DeKalb County, so I knew all about the reputation. World-renowned, high-powered, high-octane, and to get the chance to conduct that band on Football Fridays in Georgia, are you kidding me? To be able to climb on that ladder and get them through a number in one piece, it's one of the coolest things I've ever got the chance to do here at GPB. I cannot wait to see what this season brings. Go on to GPB Sports Facebook page and let us know some of your favorite moments.
Each week, GPB brings you the latest in high school sports.
Hi again, everybody.
But we want to hear what you have to say. Tell us what's going on with your team. Share your favorite moments. Post your own pictures and videos. And let everyone know why your team will go all the way.
Best you've ever seen. You haven't seen a game until you've been to one of the games.
Just log on and like us on Facebook, where you can post comments, pictures, and videos to earn your own team bragging rights. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, too.
During this performance, one student will drop out of high school. Be there for your big finish.
Welcome back to the All Access Pass pregame show. The Peachtree Ridge Lions made the playoffs last year. They run a high-octane offense, and I got a chance to talk just moments ago with the head coach, Mark Fleetwood, and his quarterback, Chance Thrasher.
Well, you know, we started in January with the off-season, then the spring practice with our summer training, and school's been in 3 or 4 weeks, so we're ready to play. It's got a lot of new faces on our team, so I'm excited to see these guys in action tonight.
Chance, you're the quarterback of this football team. You guys run a high-octane, fast-paced offense. Talk a little about running that no-huddle.
It's just a lot of fun, especially when you get the defense tired, and then when you get them tired, we just keep pounding the ball on them. It's a lot of fun.
Talk a little about your hopes for this upcoming season.
It's going to be great. We're going to have fun. Hopefully we go to state like every team does, but I think we have the chance to do it.
All right. right, you guys got the Archer Tigers tonight. Talk a little about this matchup.
Well, of course, Archer's coming off a great year last year. They've got a lot of returning starters, so they're going to be an experienced team. And we got to see them play last week in the Corky Kell game, and of course, it was a great game. And we know Archer is a great opponent coming in here with a lot of experience, so we've got to be ready for all their attack. So I'm excited about it. It'll be a great test for us and let us know where we are.
Coach Chance, thanks very much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
August 29th, 1977. Legions of Elvis Presley fans around the world were still in shock. Their idol had died just 13 days earlier. Now, news that 4 men have been charged with attempting to steal his barely cool body. Oh, Lord Almighty. Well, now plenty of people believe Elvis is still alive. Either he went into hiding or was kidnapped by aliens. But there's no arguing that his tomb is the major attraction at Graceland. 25 years after the fact, one of the alleged grave robbers admitted the whole body-snatching scheme had been a hoax staged by the Presley family. They wanted to get around Memphis zoning laws and plant Elvis where they wanted. Genius. Elvis, so far as we know, is not in the building tonight, but the Archer Tigers are bringing their own star power. This is a young team just kicking off their 6th season. Last year, they blew past every one of their region rivals to claim the region title, ending the season with an 11-1 record and making it to the second round of the state playoffs. Coach Andy Dyer is back at the helm, making him the only coach Archer has ever known.
I think you guys want to win. Let's go, baby.
Home team tonight, the Peachtree Ridge Lions. This is another one of Georgia's younger schools, but a strong one. Back in 2006, this team clinched the state championship and are usually around at playoff time. The Lions are beginning their 12th football season tonight. It's their 4th under the direction of Coach Mark Fleetwood.
Here we go.
At least 11 players are returning starters this year, including a quarterback with a name that clearly means business, Chance Thrasher. So welcome to the first night of the 2014 Football Friday season. The kids are wearing cleats, not blue suede, but we're all ready to rock and roll. We're live for Football Fridays on GPB.
Well, you can do anything but stay home for my blue suede shoes.
Time to play some football. That's a championship team right there. It's a hot time tonight.
Friday in Georgia, as we welcome you to the Lions Den in Swanee for this matchup of 2 Gwinnett County State Championship contenders as the number 8 Archer Tigers take on the 9th-ranked Peachtree Ridge Lions. And good evening. Welcome to our opening broadcast of the high school football season on GPB. I'm Matt Stewart and glad to be a part of the team this season as I welcome in my colleague Larry Smith. And Larry, you ready for some football?
You know, I've been waiting all summer for this. I think everyone else has too. It's been an exciting week already to get ready for this. And finally here, kickoff is here.
Interesting matchup. What is better, a team to have played a game even if they've lost it, or to have that extra week of practice? Well, Archer has played. Peachtree Ridge, this is their opener.
Yeah, it really is. But right now, we talked to Coach earlier this week, and he said his guys are ready. You know, it's another week. He's had that before, playing in the Cal Classic. He knows what that's like, but he says he doesn't feel like it's an advantage for Archer.
Well, Archer coming off a tough 21-13 season-opening loss to Sandy Creek last Friday night, already has injury issues. Their tight end, Connor Redmond, one of the top tight ends in the Southeast, still out with a back injury. Kobe Smith, their nose tackle, is also out. And so is their starting quarterback, Gabe Tiller. That means the junior Will Bearden gets the start tonight.
Yeah, he's going to come in, and really right now they think that will help, this experience really help this team in the future. Not quite as strong as an arm, but he says really he's somebody who understands what they want to do in offense, and he has total confidence in his young quarterback.
Well, whoever plays quarterback for Archer needs to get the ball to wide receiver Kyle Davis. He's one of the top junior athletes in the entire country, and he's already committed to the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, he's somebody, such an exciting player, Matt, and really even Coach was talking about, you just don't know what's going to happen when he gets the ball in his hands. When we watch him tonight, we will see why Steve Spurrier is so excited about having this young man on his roster next year.
On the flip side, Peachtree Ridge solid at quarterback. Chance Thrasher started 12 games a year ago, and he comes in having completed 18 touchdown passes last year and only 5 interceptions.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about him really during this entire game because of what he brings. He's a top-level recruit at the quarterback position. A lot of colleges looking at him, and really his work ethic is what really sets him apart.
And he's got a lot of underclassmen, weapons, a lot of juniors and sophomores, including D'Angelo Gibbs, who is one of the top sophomore prospects in the entire country, regardless of position.
Yeah, he is. He's one of these young players who really already, as just a sophomore, is being compared to some really top-level receivers who have ever played the game. And we'll get into more of that as we continue here tonight in our broadcast.
All right, Archer and Peachtree Ridge. This will be an exciting ball game to open our schedule. The third member of our broadcast team is John Nelson, and he's down on the sidelines.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for accessing us, however you do so, on GPB TV, gpb.org, or the GPB Sports app. We're going to talk about the heat all night long. It's in the 90s right now, low 90s when it comes to temperature and humidity. And right now the refs are going to pay attention to us. When we do our breaks, they'll take theirs. Let's go upstairs to Matt and Larry for the game.
All right, thank you, John. They got off to an early start here, an early kickoff. That was the 3rd down and 12 pass thrown incomplete to Jeremiah Nails. So 3 and out goes Archer here to start this ball game, and Peachtree Ridge will be going on offense here following the punt. One of the interesting things here, Gabe Tiller, we talked about him, the starting quarterback. He is also their starting punter. He did not start tonight. Will Bearden, number 10, did, but Gabe Tiller will be handling the punts here to start this ball game. And Coach Andy Dyer, when we spoke to him before the ball game, did not rule out the fact that Gabe Tiller might get in the ball game as a quarterback as well. So Tiller with the kick will hit at the 36-yard line and bounce away from Chad Clay. And so the Peachtree Ridge Lions will go on offense for the first time following the 44-yard kick by Gabe Tiller. Here's Chance Thrasher, number 9, the senior, 6'2", 218 pounds, as you heard in our all-access show. This young man has put on close to 50 pounds since he arrived on campus as a sophomore a couple of seasons ago. The very first play will be the handoff, and Nassim Antonor, who's got big shoes to fill this year, is dropped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Antonor really does. The senior, 5'8", 190. But when you get back and look at again at number 9, Thrasher, and what and you talked about again the development. We talked in the pregame. He's really come on strong, and he's the kind of senior leader now that you want at your quarterback position.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 31-yard line. Thrasher to the air, throws complete to Connor Hayward. And Hayward up to the 45-yard line, and a first down for Peachtree Ridge, a 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, one more look at this as we check the replay here. You can see Hayward, one of these many young underclassmen, sophomore and junior talents we've talked about. Good hands right there. He's got the good football lineage. His dad in the NFL, brother at Ohio State, and played here at Peachtree Ridge. Nice first down there for Peachtree Ridge.
And he has a brother who plays basketball at Georgia Tech. That's Antonor, avoids the tackle, and he's driven out of bounds by Jamias Williams at the 49-yard line. As we take a look at the starting lineup for Peachtree Ridge on offense, brought to you by Regions Bank with Best, Lovely, Higgins, and Lovely. Those are brothers and paid up front. We'll talk more about those guys as the evening rolls on. In the skill position with Hayward, Antonor, Robinson, Campbell, and Gibbs. A timeout on the field right now as one of the Archer Tigers shaken up on the play. That's Isaiah Pryor, who we talked about a few moments ago in the all-access show. Pryor, the number 5 sophomore cornerback in the country, plays the spur position for this Archer team, and he's helped off the field.
Yeah, so much talent right now in this field on both sides.
So 2nd down and 6 from the 49. Fake the handoff to Antonor, throw across the field, caught by Gibbs, and a first down. Actually, that was caught by Tyler Campbell, not Gibbs, number 6, Tyler Campbell, who had 29 catches a year ago and is the top returning receiver on this team this year.
Yeah, there's a nice read right here by Thrasher. Watch him again with the nice fake. Right into Campbell. The two seniors have known each other for a long time. Good for a first down.
So a second first down for Peachtree Ridge as they have the ball, 1st and 10 now at the Archer 40-yard line. We also had a sideline warning penalty called against Archer, so a 5-yard mark off to the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Antonor picks up about 4 on the play before he's tackled by Sam Wright, the nose tackle. Here's a look at the Regions Bank starting lineup for Archer on defense, the 3-man front of Armstrong, Wright, and Sweat. Blakely and Pryor the Spurs with Bliss, Miller, and Finch at the linebacker positions, and in the secondary, the corners Williams and Bryant, and Singleton the safety. 2nd down from the 36. Thrasher to the air and going for the home run and overshoots his intended target, D'Angelo Gibbs, at the goal line.
Yeah, Gibbs, just that incredibly talented young man we talked about in the pregame. Just a sophomore, led him just a little bit much there. Good coverage on that play by Archer.
That should be a great matchup of Gibbs on Jamias Williams, 2 of the top sophomores in the country, as Gibbs goes to the sideline on 3rd down and 6.
That's a matchup we've been talking about all week, man.
Campbell in motion, takes the handoff. Pryor back in the ball game, forced the play inside, and the tackle made by Frank Finch, the Sam linebacker, and it's going to be 4th down.
That was a nice read right there, but it was also the other player, if we get a chance to see it right here. Watch the penetration by the line here. You see there's a Finch right there, but watch this. It's number 33 right there, coming in and stopping the momentum and forcing him to reverse ground, and that led to the tackle on 3rd down, and now the 4th down and the punt.
The sophomore Zaniel Phillips is on to punt, standing at his own 48-yard line. Kicks it away from Williams and gets a nice bounce. We'll see where they spot that. They'll spot it at the 12, and that's where the Archer Tigers will go on offense for the first time tonight, following a 27-yard kick by Zaniel Phillips, as we take a look at the Regions Bank starting lineup for the Archer Tigers on offense. And up front, a veteran offensive front. They've been playing together since their sophomore season. Hornsby, Hammond, Stein, Blues, and Burton. Stein getting the start in place of the injured Nick Williams. And in the specialty positions, Nails, Singleton, and the other Nails, Randy and Jeremiah, and Arnold and Davis. Davis, the big wide receiver who's already committed to South Carolina. So Bearden on the handoff, and nothing doing. Loss of a yard on the play on the handoff to Randy Nails. Look at the Regions Bank starting lineup on defense. For Peachtree Ridge, again a 3-man front of Sims, Hill, and Bell. Bell, the returning starter, joined by Staples, Capps, Dixon, Jones, and Forrest, the linebackers, as the pass is thrown complete at the 18-yard line. That's Jeremiah Nails with the catch, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 4.
That's Nails' first catch of the season. He was shut out last week in the loss to Sandy Creek. Brings up 3rd down.
Looked like we had a false start. Todd Downs, your referee, signaling the false start on Archer. That'll turn their 3rd down and 4 into a 3rd down and 9. Andy Dyer, the head coach of the Archer Tigers, his 6th season as the head coach, their 5th full varsity season, 25-22. They've had steady improvement every year, 11-1 last year after totaling 13 wins in the previous 3 seasons. Heavy rush and a quarterback sack way back at the 7-yard line. Breon Dixon, the Will linebacker, who is already getting a lot of looks from ACC and SEC schools, coming off the edge unblocked.
Yeah, you look at the reason why right here. This is just a perfect read by him coming around. Nobody picks him up. You can see right there, the empty backfield looking for the targets on 3rd down. Dixon takes advantage. That was great speed and instinct right there by the sophomore.
So the quarterback sack by Breon Dixon forces Archer to punt out of their own end zone. Chad Clay will take it on the run at the 44. Clay still on his feet. Flags drop as he is dropped at the 36.
Nice moves there, but I think that maybe a little penalty here against Peachtree Ridge. It's going to bring that back a little bit, but some nice moves there. He didn't get too many yards out of it, but he certainly stayed up and kept the play alive for a few extra seconds.
Block in the back will be the call on Peachtree Ridge, so that's going to move it back close to the 50-yard line following the 39-yard kick by Gabe Tiller. They'll put the ball at the 47, so Mark Fleetwood's team will start their second possession, 1st and 10 from the Archer 47. Fleetwood in his 6th season overall as a head coach, his 4th at Peachtree Ridge, 20-13, had a couple of seasons as a head coach at Habersham Central back in the 90s. Looks like the team's going to take a little water break here as we are halfway through the first quarter. 6:19 to play in the opening period, and no score at the Lions' Den in Suwanee.
Football Fridays in Georgia on GPB is made possible in part by Regions Bank. It's time to expect more. Georgia's Electric Membership Corporation, lighting the way. Technical College System of Georgia, learn more, earn more. Cigna, go you. And viewers like you, thank you.
This is 88.5 FM, Atlanta's news source for your news and information.
Good morning. Let's start the conversation. What's on your mind, Atlanta? We want to hear from you.
The news and information you've been looking for is here on 88.5.
From Peachtree City to Piedmont Park, from Norcross to Decatur, GPB Atlanta is the source for stories from your community.
All news, all information, all day.
Back in Suwanee, Georgia. Football Fridays in Georgia, our opening broadcast of the season. Matt Stewart along with Larry Smith and John Nelson and a host of many. As we are just underway, Peachtree Ridge getting ready to go on offense for the second time. Their opener, 8-4 a year ago. Larry went 5-3 in Region 7 6A. All 3 losses in the regular season came to the teams ahead of them in the region standings, including the 2 state finalists, Norcross and North Gwinnett.
That's a tough schedule. And we talked to Coach Fleetwood earlier this week, and this is a team right now that he said, I'm going into this, I'm comfortable with the guys that we have. But look, we're replacing 6 starters on both sides of the ball. So really, this is a bit of a test for him right now. Not the experience you would like, but as we've talked, you've alluded to already, a lot of really good young talent. This sophomore class up here just beginning to scratch the surface on their potential.
Really counting on the quarterback, Chance Thrasher, to kind of bridge the gap between the old and the new on the Peachtree Ridge offense. Thrasher back to pass, pump fake, and was close to the line of scrimmage when he threw, incomplete. D'Angelo Gibbs, his intended receiver, he was very close to crossing the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball.
Yeah, he was a little too close for comfort there.
Bring up 2nd down and 10.
I tell you, it's our first look at him, obviously, first game of the season, but I like the way he's got great instincts back there.
Has offers from Troy, Coastal Carolina, and the University of Ohio. They get the ball to Antinor, and he's going to be slung down back at the 49-yard line, and there's a flag down on the play as well. Quinn Miller, who had 12 tackles in last week's loss to Sandy Creek, number 37, in on that play.
I think it's against Peachtree Ridge, the Lions here. Looks like, and you can see the Lions all backing up here.
Well, you talked about it in the All Access Pass show, that, playing your first game as opposed to having a game under your belt. Last week it was Archer who had the 8 penalties, including a penalty with 9 seconds left in the game that negated a chance for them to perhaps tie that game with Sandy Creek and send it to overtime.
Yeah, exactly. Archer's defense right now, much better start than last week.
Thrasher, heavy rush, and he's going to be dropped Looked like Sam Wright, the nose tackle, number 51, was the first guy to get there. And a big quarterback sack as Peachtree Ridge continues to move in reverse.
That's a big play. Let's one more look at it right here. Again, great penetration there. When you win the line, great things happen. One more look at it, just a gang tackle. I mean, I don't know how many tackle assists you can give on one play, but right there, you see a lot of guys in there, a lot of white shirts. Robbie Armstrong coming in. 3rd and long.
Thrasher guns it off the hands of Connor Hayward, and it's going to be 4th down. So Peachtree Ridge going in reverse on their second possession, and there's also a flag down on the field. Not only did they not take advantage of the fact that they took over at the 47-yard line, they actually lost field position there, and there's an ineligible man downfield, which will be declined, and it's going to be 4th down in a punting situation.
That's the thing right now. It's still early, as you said, just the second series right now on offense, but you look at this team right now, and they're making some of those little mistakes that you're going to make your first time out. That, again, Coach Dyer over on the other sideline hopes that his team has already worked those bugs out in last week's contest.
Daniel Phillips on to punt for a second time. He's standing at the 21. Nice booming kick. Fair catch is called for at the 21-yard line by Jamias Williams, and that's where the Archer Tigers will go on offense for a 3rd time here in the first quarter. Let's check in with John Nelson.
Thanks, guys. And, when you talk about early in the game, you guys had talked about in the open the value of that first week game or that week 0 game versus that first week game, the week 1 game tonight. Coaches' opinions seem to vary. And obviously with Andy Dyer with all the injuries, he might be second thinking the idea of playing in week 0 in the Classic that he did. And Mark Fleetwood, his players all day, they were just antsy. Not playing in the preseason or the week 0 game like they did. All day on campus, they were completely and totally amped, ready to hit somebody. And you're seeing that early tonight on defense.
Hand off to Nails. Nails scampers across the 25 to the 26-yard line before he's dropped by Josh Forrest.
He had a nice game last week, 108 yards and 20 carries, scored a touchdown in that loss to Sandy Creek. Big part of this offense, and they're going to depend on me even more with the injury to Tiller at quarterback with Bearden in there now.
What's interesting about Nails' 108 yards last week against Sandy Creek is that 96 of them came in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Ball nearly intercepted at the 31-yard line, in and out of the hands of Chad Clay.
Wish he had that one back. One more look at this. Bearden here. Just a bad throw. I don't know if there's miscommunication. He expected the receiver to turn right instead, but lucky that wasn't picked off.
Yeah, Jeremiah Nails was the intended target. It looks like he broke outside. Bearden threw inside. That's complete to Kyle Davis. Look at Davis. Got to watch out for him. He's across the 50 into the 49.
He's just a big-time player. And Davis, as you mentioned earlier, he's already committed to South Carolina. And this is the reason why Coach Spurrier really likes this young man. Watch him here. Make himself a big target right there. And then what he does after the catch. The great speed. Count the blue shirts that are catching him. 4 or 5 blue shirts there. And nobody can get a hold of him. Again, 6'3", 218. He's just got a wonderful speed. And a great first down here for Archer.
1st and 10 from the 49, and Randy Nails crashes in there for a 3-yard gain down to the 46.
You know, you make a play like that, it gives your young quarterback Bearden some confidence. A couple running plays going, and all of a sudden they got their best drive of this early game.
2nd down and 7. Bearden will keep it this time, and Bearden eludes a couple of tackles and picks up the first down before being driven out of bounds across the first down marker.
It's a great play right there. Joe Smith, the free safety on the tackles. You look one more look at this. But again, when you do the other plays before, a couple of successful runs with Nails, the defense focuses, watch this again, focusing on that. And again, a nice first down. All of a sudden, Archer really on the move here.
Outside linebacker Jace Capps had him, let him get away, and it's a first down for Archer. To the air they go, and nearly intercepted again. It looks again like miscommunication on the route. Balin Buchanan nearly had the interception, and it's going to be 2nd down.
You talk about Bearden, and again, coming in last week, there's no one close to him right here. Really underthrown, and if he got a little more on the ball, he was actually open back behind him.
Yeah, which leads me to believe that he thought that his intended target was going to take a deeper and more sharper cut across the middle and did not. Dylan Singleton with the carry, his first carry of the ball game. Singleton's another one of the big-time prospects. We have not mentioned him yet, but just a junior, already has offers from South Carolina and Duke. The 24/7 Sports Composite has him listed as the number 25 cornerback in the nation, a position he does not play here for Archer. He plays safety and running back. Davis with the catch and dropped by Buchanan. Davis with his second grab and close to a first down.
You may stop and look at a measurement here. One more look at this again. Bearden, tell you what, Kyle Davis, he'd make me look good.
4th down and 2, they're going for it. And a timeout's going to be called by Archer on this 4th down and 2. Archer Tigers, one of the neophyte programs here in Gwinnett County. This is just their 6th year of football, their 5th year of varsity football. They played a very limited schedule that first year, so really just 5. This is just the start of their 5th full season. Won the Region 8 6A championship last year, went 10-0 in the regular season, lost to eventual state semifinalist North Gwinnett in the second round of the playoffs, 34-32.
This team right now, this has got to be, Coach Dyer's got to like what they're putting together right now with the injuries. We've talked about the center. Williams is out with an injury. Again, the quarterback Tiller also suffering that injury. He's punting tonight. That's a part of his duties, but not playing quarterback. This is a very nice drive by this young team that he's putting together.
I thought it was very interesting what Andy Dyer told us, that he was really excited about the fact that he was going to be able to see his team play despite all the injuries, because this is when you find out what the other guys can do. And it is not a region game, so it's not going to hurt you whether you lose it or not. On 4th and 2, they do not pick it up. They do not get the first down as Randy Nails is stopped shy of the marker.
Big stop there by the Lions. One more look at this 4th down play. Again, they try to run here over the right side of the line, but great penetration right there. You can see there's 11 is right there. That's Malik Staples. He's another very talented prospect there for the Lions. Nice stop there to plug that hole and to deny them the first down, and the ball goes the other way to Peachtree Ridge. Good stop.
So the Lions take over on downs from the 28-yard line.
Now the question is, can the Peachtree Ridge offense find a little momentum from that?
Had great field position last time. Antonor with the big hole, and Nassim Antonor up close to the 50-yard line, a 21-yard gain.
Just a little bundle of power, 5'8", 190, and they would coach Fleetwood really talking about him, how he just gets a head of steam going. Nice vision right there, picks up his blocker. Sutton out there at the receiver position. One more look at it, first down, Peachtree Ridge.
Antonor gets it again, and another nice run by Antonor as he is spun out of bounds inside the 50, inside the 45, and down to the 44.
You know, I think Coach Fleetwood sees something there over the left side of the line as we watch this once again. There's a big number 62 there, Maxwell Bell, clearing the hole for Antonor here. And the big play, and all of a sudden the Lions are on the move in Archer territory.
Maxwell Bell, who you mentioned, number 68, did not even start practicing until this week. He'd been held out because of injury. Tyler Campbell down the sideline, inside the 20, all the way down to the 16.
Just a great play right here, senior to senior. We got a flag on the play. Those who watch this again, great blocking by your receivers out there. Look, that's just outstanding. That's D'Angelo Gibbs, the sophomore, getting thrown to the turf there by the defensive back. It looks like, though, Matt, it's all for naught. It's going to come back.
Unfortunately, looks like this one's going to go back. A penalty, I think, block in the back or holding call, the initial indication. Holding the call. Wow. Ball would have been at the 16. Instead, it's back at the 48.
Oh, watch this one more time, and here it is right here. This is Gibbs I guess he was holding right there, trying to say because he threw him down. It looked like he was maybe pulled down on the play, but they said he pushed him down. That's a hold. You can't grab him, and it all comes back.
Second down, Thrasher to the air. Nice. Oh, dropped. I thought that Malik Robinson had hauled it in with one hand, ended up dropping it on the turf. And it's going to be third down.
Robinson, another one of the many talented receivers here, couldn't come into that one. Thrasher, as we talked about at the onset of this, scoreless game here for Peachtree Ridge, the senior quarterback. So many receivers to throw to.
2 of 6 for 22 yards thus far in the game. It's third down now. Being chased, they set up the screen. Nice screen. Gibbs picks up the first down as he's tripped up at the 34-yard line.
Gibbs showing some great speed there to get that first down, and it was a great move right there. You can see again, we talked about that pressure defense for Archer. They bring the blitz, and that's a great read right out of it. Gibbs turning on that speed, just a sophomore, and a first down for Peachtree Ridge.
Antenor trying to get to the outside, no running room, and Antenor dropped way back at the 35-yard line. Looked like the middle linebacker, Quinn Miller, first guy there. Isaiah Pryor in on that tackle as well.
Nice play right there by Archer. Both these defenses right now bend but not break so far here in the first quarter. It's been quite a battle.
Big shoes for Nassim Antenor to fill this season, replacing Jordan Ellis, who's now a freshman at the University of Virginia. Ellis, a season ago, rushed for close to 1,700 yards and scored 30 of their 32 rushing touchdowns. Malik Staples, his first carry of the evening, and Staples gets inside the 30-yard line down to the 28, and it's going to be third down.
He's a load, 6 foot, 200. Plays both ways for the Lions.
Transferred from Pace Academy, already has offers from App State and Boston College. This is the first game of his junior season, so you know that a lot more offers are coming his way. Third down. Going for the home run, jump ball, and it is brought down by Gibbs, incomplete. Broken up at the last moment. Nice defensive play by Jamias Williams, and there's that sophomore versus sophomore star matchup we were talking about, and this time Jamias Williams wins it.
Yeah, that was a great play there by Williams, and we've talked all week. We want to see these two go at each other. Gibbs, the sophomore, again, these two are the top players in the state and the country as well. Looked like I was with you, man. I thought that Gibbs had hauled that down, but look at that great camera work, too, by our GPB crew to pull that ball away, make it an incompletion, and to save the touchdown for Archer.
Fourth down and 6, and Peachtree Ridge will go for it. Thrasher stops and throws, and incomplete at the 10-yard line. Again, Gibbs, the intended target. Gibbs has done a lot of running here in the first quarter. He's going to welcome this first quarter break in a moment.
It certainly is. That's tough to ask somebody to go deep on that back-to-back plays. Nice job there by Thrasher. Good penetration there again by the Archer defense to put the pressure on him and to force the tough throw. And once again, we have another fourth down. Both teams now going for it on fourth down and coming up short. It's back to an Archer ball. Good defensive first quarter here, if you like. Strong defense and good defensive football, both again bending but not breaking.
Yeah, this will be our 7th possession of the first quarter.
First quarter, yeah.
3 for each team, and now the 4th here for Archer with half a minute left in the first quarter. Nails, an open field tackle by Balin Buchanan.
Balin, football fans recognize that Buchanan name. Dad Ray, longtime quarterback for the Falcons, the Colts. His brother played at Arkansas, transferred to Northern Iowa to play this season. Another good player in the family.
Could be the final play of the quarter right here. Not much doing on the play as Kyle Davis is corralled. And the first quarter comes to a close. First 12 minutes in the books. In Suwanee, Georgia, no score. Friday football in Georgia.
At the heart of our community are the businesses that don't skip a beat. Georgia's electric membership cooperatives stand behind local commerce. Whether keeping farms running or shining a light on new ventures. We bring business, large and small, to our communities. Creating jobs, driving development, supporting dreams. Georgia's EMCs, powering our businesses, lighting the way.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you. Cigna.
Nothing prepares you better for a great career than the Technical College System of Georgia. TCSG colleges produce graduates with the knowledge and training today's top employers are looking for. With campuses across Georgia, state-of-the-art facilities, and outstanding instructors with real-world experience, it's the kind of affordable college education that will fast-track you into a rewarding career. We're building a better future for you. Contact the TCSG College in your area today or go to tcsg.edu.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come.
Class 2A state championship. Where are you going? I'm going back to high school.
Your dreams come
On the next episode of Georgia Traveler, we journey from the high country to the low country. It has that very natural taste to it.
Have you ever gone out and said, how did that get on my plate? Delicious.
There's really not a university in the system that I know of that does what we do.
Tell me what's on your plate right now.
I'd like to see what it was like back in the 1800s.
Yeah. From the mountains to the coast, see what the buzz is all about on the next Georgia Traveler.
Sunday at 7 on GPB.
And welcome back to the home of the Lions. We're still scoreless here between the Lions and the Tigers, and you're looking at a beautiful sunset to start the second quarter. Now, if you're new to Football Fridays in Georgia, we like to play some social trivia and get your input, those Monday morning quarterbacks watching here tonight. So our question for the night is, who beat Peachtree Ridge in the 2008 state championship game? Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, give us your answer, and I'll return in the fourth quarter with our winner, who will receive a Football Fridays in Georgia t-shirt. What better way to kick off the season? Matt?
All right, thank you, Grace. I know the answer to that question. Perhaps we can play that as well. We'll make sure that we don't give that answer away, though, before the fourth quarter. Third down and 4 for Archer as we start the second quarter. A scoreless first quarter in the books. Bearden still in there at quarterback, and going up top for Kyle Davis. Chad Clay, step-for-step coverage, and it's going to be fourth down.
And good defense right there. Bearden throwing into double coverage. Coach may want to talk about that. Of course, it is Davis. You know, a good defense there by Peachtree Ridge. You know he's going to be the guy you're going to go to on third down, and they defended it well.
So Gabe Tiller, the #1 quarterback for Archer, in their punting, not starting tonight because of a shoulder injury that he suffered last Friday night in the 21-13 loss against Sandy Creek. But he is punting tonight and has punted well. He's had plenty of opportunity, and that's another good kick. Chad Clay calling the fair catch. Will let it hit in front of him, and then he picks it up. I think he called for a fair catch. And Clay at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
I mean, we'll check that replay. I'm pretty sure he waved fair catch. Of course, the ball did hit the ground. 42-yard kick, 13-yard return.
And that's a play right there that a little conversation here. That's exactly what the Archer was saying. He's saying,
I was pretty sure that he called for a fair catch and then returned it.
Here's a replay. Let's watch. Here's a great ISO on him right here. Yeah.
That's fair catch right there.
That's a fair catch. We've got a flag in the play. Against Archer.
And a penalty, a personal foul penalty against Archer. Archer continues to plead their case that he had called for a fair catch. They don't win that argument, and so Peachtree Ridge wins that and gets a penalty on top of it. So 1st and 10 for the Lions to start this second quarter, their first possession of the second quarter at the 49.
Not quite sure what the penalty is. Let's see. I know number 3, Dylan Singleton, had some words for the Peachtree City bench.
I believe a blow to the head, a helmet-to-helmet contact there, I believe was the call.
Coming in late.
As you saw the tackler come in there late.
Altenor there on the carry. 5-yard gain on 1st down. But yeah, I guess the penalty, you're right. A little late hit there, coming in leading with the helmet. Boy, what a double blow for Archer. Now you're already, you're backpedaling in your own territory.
2nd down and 5. Up top for Gibbs, he got some separation. Looked like there was some contact as well, as Jeremiah Nails was running step for step with him, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Gibbs is semi, as you mentioned, great athletic family. His older sister played for McEachern, and she's a junior guard out at USC for the Southern Cal Ladies of Troy. They know a little bit about college athletics up there. Here, 3rd down now.
Pass is thrown complete. Christian Sutton with the catch. And Sutton picks up the 1st down across the 40-yard line.
One more look at this. Thrasher, good strong throw. Knows where the 1st down marker is. Moving the chains.
So 1st and 10 from the 37 for Peachtree Ridge. Going on the other side this time, and Tyler Campbell, the intended target. That was Aramis Bryant, the other cornerback who came over there and made the play. Campbell's a pretty big-time receiver, 6', 170. Mark Fleetwood, the head coach, says that if he was about 20 pounds bigger than he is, would be getting more offers. Already does have offers from Army and Air Force Academy, but his slightness of build working against him in the recruiting process a little bit. Antenor, right up the middle, got some jersey there. I don't know, was that Quinn Miller?
I think it was, yeah.
Got himself a big handful of jersey.
Yeah.
Needed that Earl Campbell tearaway.
Yeah, one more look at it, boy, he just would not let go. I think even Altenor was surprised. Look at his jersey.
That thing's all stretched out. Antenor runs close to a 1st down, but there's another flag on the play.
See if it could be maybe some motion along the line. Let's see what they want to call here. Look at his jersey. You have to get some scissors and cut that
thing's
off.
all messed up.
It's almost a prom dress. A lot of conversation here.
Todd Downs, our referee, the softball coach at Kennesaw State. Assistant head coach, I should say, at Kennesaw State, softball, and worked at Georgia Tech before that. Antenor, I'm really surprised they're letting Antenor play like that. He might trip on that thing.
That's right.
Thrasher up top, jump ball, caught by D'Angelo Gibbs for the touchdown. Out jumped Jamias Williams. On the previous possession, we saw Williams win the battle. This time, D'Angelo Gibbs gets the better of it.
Yep. You can say they're tied at 1, I guess, on this one. Gibbs with the jump ball, great athletic abilities we've talked about before. Boy, Coach just loves this kid. You know, Coach Fleetwood coached Terrell Owens at Chattanooga many years ago, and he said, this kid, I'm telling you, at the same stage, is the best receiver that I've coached, and that's really high praise.
The TCSG replay, touchdown replay, and Gibbs provides the highlight. The extra point by Zaniel Phillips, and Peachtree Ridge has a 7-0 lead. D'Angelo Gibbs gets in the end zone for the first time this season, plays jump ball at the end of this 25-yard pass, and the Lions have the early 7-0 lead.
This moment, getting here took 3 years of sleepless nights and postponed vacations. Your dad said play it safe. Your husband kept the faith. But franchising is why you partnered with Regions in the first place. We share your vision for moving forward. And at moments like this,
Hi, Steve.
that makes all the difference. Is your business at a turning point? Regions.
Today, companies in the aerospace, advanced manufacturing, and film industries need skilled workers, and the earning potential is high. Go Build Georgia can show you where the jobs are and what skills you need to get them. And the Technical College System of Georgia has fast, affordable training for these great paying careers. Build your blueprint for success at GoBuildGeorgia.com and look to the Technical College System of Georgia to put your plan into action.
Nothing lead on the Archer Tigers. 2 minutes into the second quarter, Matt Stewart along with Larry Smith. There you see the two participants in the scoring play, Chance Thrasher and D'Angelo Gibbs, capping a 5-play, 49-yard drive as we take another look at it right here. Thrasher just put it up for grabs and said, big guy, go get it.
And that he did. You just can't teach size. Williams, again, as you mentioned, one of the top players getting all kinds of looks already as a sophomore, but he's only 5'9". And you throw that kind of jump ball up, and Gibbs already has the 5-inch advantage.
Well, the story goes like this. A couple of weeks ago, he was watching Georgia scrimmage, and this is reportedly the Bulldogs defensive coordinator, Jeremy Pruitt, told him after several of his defensive backs failed to make the play, said, if you were here, you'd be playing right now.
That's right. How'd that feel? You imagine you're a sophomore and hearing that, huh?
That's a nice sales pitch.
That's right.
That'd get my attention.
Sure would.
D'Angelo Gibbs getting everybody's attention so far here tonight, and he is just a sophomore. Maman with the kickoff to Kyle Davis, who takes it at the 1. And Kyle Davis up to the 21-yard line with the flag down on the play.
Yeah, there's a flag there in the play. Usually that goes against the receiving team. Let's see what happens.
Block in the back against Archer. Again, Archer, their own worst enemy last week against Sandy Creek. 8 penalties, including the very unfortunate one that we talked about earlier that came with 9 seconds left that negated a touchdown. And they also had 4 turnovers, Larry, and all 4 turnovers came in the red zone.
Yeah, and Coach Dyer, I mean, obviously, if you know football, you can't do that and have any kind of success. And Coach Dyer said, hey, listen, we stopped ourselves. We were our own worst enemy. We've got to figure out a way to play this kind of consistent football and to finish all the way through.
They already have 5 penalties for 30 yards tonight. Bearden still in there, quarterback, and nearly picked off. Breon Dixon, had he been able to hold on to it, would have waltzed into the end zone.
And Dixon, another talent, as you mentioned, already weighs 200 pounds. I think he'll put more in his frame before he's a senior. Again, only a sophomore. A lot of talented young athletes. Again, we can't say that sophomore class for the Lions really special.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this ball game, Larry, is not only is it a good ball game tonight, it'll be a good ball game next year when they play at Archer. And if they play again beyond that, because of the depth of talent in the sophomore and junior classes for both of these ball clubs. Third down and 5. In and out of the hands of Kyle Davis, and he got stuck hard by, you guessed it, Breon Dixon again, whose name continues to be called early and often here in this ballgame.
Well, you can see right now Coach Dyer is kind of changing his offense a bit to try to take advantage of what he's got on the field right now. A few different plays, what we saw last week when Tiller was in at quarterback. And right now, Peachtree Ridge, the defense has read that as taking advantage and a couple of good defensive series now for the Lions.
Tiller stands at his 1. Line drive kick takes a Archer bounce across the 50, but again, good field position here for Peachtree Ridge as they will take over the Archer 49-yard line. Be sure to catch up on GPB's Emmy Award-winning nature series, Georgia Outdoors. Follow host Sharon Collins as she explores the beauty of our state through all 4 seasons of its glory and find out about Georgia's remarkable natural habitats and the efforts to protect them. Catch Georgia Outdoors only on GPB Sundays at 7:30 and look forward to new episodes coming this January.
No rest now for the Archer defense. It's a big test. Long series before, give up the touchdown, and they're right back on the field after 3 and out by their offense.
Going for the home run again, and Gibbs catches it again. Inside the 5 and down at the 1.
Yeah, D'Angelo Gibbs, you can see again the talent. Lions going right for the jugular on that. One more look at it right here. Senior quarterback. Never looked away, saw he had one-on-one coverage, and took advantage. That's just hard to defend, Matt.
1st and goal to go. Antonor gets stopped by Pryor back at the 5-yard line, and a 4-yard loss on the play.
Big play right there by Pryor. Antonor had the hole. Looked like it could be 6. Nice job there to not only fill it up, but also tackle him for a loss.
Isaiah Pryor. Offers include Georgia most recently just 3 weeks ago. Tennessee, Ohio State, Oklahoma, NC State, Iowa, and Indiana. Antonor, no running room, gets stood up. A.J. Sweat, the anchor, which is essentially the defensive end on this 3-man front for Peachtree Ridge. And now a 3rd down coming up after they got the ball down to the 1 on the 50-yard pass play. They've ended up losing a total of about 5 yards here.
Yeah, Sweat, a senior, 6'1", 190. And that D-line. This is a big play right here for Archer.
I would throw the ball to Gibbs.
Yeah, I think so. You think?
Thrasher cuts back and dives for the end zone and gets in for the touchdown.
Nice play there by
7-yard
Thrasher.
touchdown run.
Yeah, nice play there by Thrasher. Again, you know, thinking Gibbs, everyone else in the field thinking Gibbs. You put Campbell, the senior, in motion, move some things around. Nice play call there, too, by the Peachtree Ridge offensive coordinator, by the coaching staff. One more look at this. You can see he's got some options there. If the guy isn't open, if your receiver isn't open, take it in, winds his way through, squeezes in, makes the dive there for the end zone, and 6 more for the Lions.
Daniel Phillips with the PAT, and 7.5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter, and Peachtree Ridge has taken a 14-0 lead.
Well, what a turn of events we were just talking about during the break there after the 1st quarter, Matt, as we kind of watch this very quick scoring drive by the Lions. Again, it's Thrasher looking for his big target, Gibbs, the sophomore, another jump ball. Williams is a great defender, but again, the big height advantage. And Gibbs takes advantage again there, and then here's Thrasher. Look at his options. Everyone watching Campbell, watching Gibbs. The defense, you can see, they're slanted over to that side. He cuts back, finds some daylight. Another touchdown for Peachtree Ridge.
So Chance Thrasher, 7-yard touchdown run, also with a 25-yard touchdown pass here in the 1st half. And the Lions, in their season opener, have jumped out to a 14-0 lead on an Archer team that started the season ranked number 2 in the GPB 6A top 10. In this week's poll, the Lions ranked 9th and Archer ranked 8th. Davis will not be able to return this one. So now Archer has some work cut out for them. Last week against Sandy Creek, they actually jumped out to a 13-0 lead and then surrendered 21 points in the 3rd quarter en route to that loss.
Yeah, tough start here for Archer. And again, we talked about the injuries right now. You got to adjust your game plan a little bit. And now you're down 14-0.
Bearden still in there at quarterback, I believe. Yep, it is Bearden. And almost intercepted again. This was Breon Dixon. And Dixon has had his name tattooed all over this game so far for Peachtree Ridge.
Well, Bearden doesn't have the arm strength of Tiller, and so a lot of short passes, and you can see what Peachtree Ridge is doing on defense. They're pulling those guys up. Bearden, watch this, he gets hit hard as he released the ball. That's a second straight series, and he's almost had a pickoff right there at the line of scrimmage.
Bearden going up top for Davis, a jump ball broken up, double coverage.
Flag on the play.
Joe Smith, the safety, was back to help out along with Chad Clay on that play, and there's also a flag down.
Yeah, flag was over here. It looked like there might have been some contact between Davis and one of those defenders on him. Maybe some contact beyond the line of scrimmage. They're talking it through. Got a flag right here about the 41-yard line. Holding, defensive holding.
So an automatic first down for Archer. That's a big penalty because it was going to be 3rd down and 10 deep in their own territory, and now they get bailed out. So a first down at the 30.
Well, but you know Archer's going to have to go deep and not just the short passes and take advantage of Davis's speed and talent to try to open up this defense, give them something to think about. They're just crowding the box right now on every play.
Toss, Jamias Williams brought down by Malik Staples. Pick up about 4 on the play. Jamias Williams and Dylan Singleton, 2 guys that they would like to use more on the offensive end if they could, but they play them so much on defense, they usually use the offensive side to rest them. But down 14-0, we'll see how much of a luxury they can afford in resting those guys. Bearden got away from the sack, threw incomplete for Davis.
It didn't work out for him. That was a nice effort because now you still gain about, you don't lose the 5 yards he was going to lose. That's a big, so even though it's incomplete pass, it still saves it from being 3rd and long.
Third down and 6. Bearden came in a relief role last week when Tiller got hurt late in that ball game against Sandy Creek, was 2 of 3 passing for 21 yards. Davis, ball popped up into the air, and I believe that was Cam Jones, the middle linebacker, who got his hand in there just as the ball was reaching Kyle Davis.
Yeah, I think you're right. One more look at it here. I think we're going to have a replay possibly. Again, trying to get the ball in Davis's hands. Tough defense right now by the Lions, and here's another punt for Archer.
Tiller has ended up seeing more action than they had hoped. Short kick, bounces upfield, and the ball will be down at the 36-yard line, a 30-yard kick by Tiller.
Archer right now needing some defense. I'm anxious to see what kind of adjustments they make to open up the other side of the field, because you'd like to think they're probably going to keep a safety on the side of the field to help out with Gibbs and that deep ball. They've gotten burned twice now in the touchdown, and then the one on the last series that let it down inside the 5-yard line, led to the Thrasher quarterback keeper for another touchdown. Let's see what defensive adjustments they make here, because right now Gibbs has gained the best of Williams in that great sophomore matchup of 2 great talents.
Well, they've got the backup cornerback, Jeremy Hunter, matched up on D'Angelo Gibbs on that play, as Jamias Williams was not on the field. Handoff went to Antenor, and not much doing. Let's check in with John Nelson.
Okay, I spent some time with the rule book. You see how Antenor's jersey is still kind of baggy on the left and the right hip, and they had to jam it in as much as possible, and it's as big as he is when it's out flapping in the breeze. As long as there's no blood on the jersey and doesn't impede the way of the game, he's fine. So it could have been dangling like a kilt and everything would have been okay.
Gibbs, the catch at the 20. Had him matched up against Aramis Bryant. That's the third different cornerback they put on D'Angelo Gibbs trying to stop him. I don't know that there's going to be a cornerback in high school football that's going to stop him.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you what, when Coach Fleetwood was talking about the guys that he's coached and how this young man compares to him, sometimes you start to think, well, he's really proud of his young man. But you see him in action right now. You can see that he's the real deal. There's nobody in this Archer defense, I don't think, right now, so far that we've seen, that can keep up with young man D'Angelo Gibbs.
They're going to have a hard time stopping D'Angelo Gibbs tonight. That was a 44-yard reception on the previous play. Antinor picks up 7 on the next play. And the ball is at the 12, 2nd down and 3. And Peachtree Ridge on the verge of taking a 3-touchdown lead. Antinor inside the 10 and close to a first down.
You're getting back to Gibbs, and again, what a talent he is. And I think at the same time, let's give credit to Thrasher, because you can have a receiver with all the speed and talent in the world, but if you don't have the touch to get the ball right where he's put that ball perfectly right over his outside shoulder now on 2 different occasions for long pass plays, and that's what has the Lions down there now knocking on the door yet again.
3rd down and 1. Antinor, the first down as he spins backwards down close to the 6.
It's a great effort there by Finch. I believe it was Finch. Quentin Miller, I'm sorry, number 37. The sophomore, great effort to stop him, but couldn't hold on to him. It was too slippery.
1st and goal from the 6. Off the hands of Connor Hayward that time, and there's a flag down on the field. So the holding call against Peachtree Ridge will back them up outside the 15.
It's one of the few mistakes they made on offense here this quarter. After that scoreless first quarter, it has been all Lions here in the second. Blake Best. Didn't really
Best
see
is an
there.
interesting story. Committed to Kentucky as a long snapper. He will arrive in Lexington next year as a preferred walk-on on an academic ride. He's got a 4.0 GPA. Malik Robinson steps out of bounds at the 10.
He's quite an athlete. 3-year starter in football, getting back to Blake Best. 3-year starter in baseball too, man.
And his mom's the assistant principal.
Yeah. She's not proud of this kid at all.
2nd down and goal coming up for Peachtree Ridge. There's a good look at Blake Best, number 65. His brother Billy, the starting quarterback for this Peachtree Ridge team back in 2011, Mark Fleetwood's first season here.
It still helps coach this team, the 9th graders. Goes to college here in the area.
Antinor still moving the pile down to the 5-yard line. And Archer's called a timeout here as they are back on their heels and in danger of falling down by 3 touchdowns. Antinor here, 11 carries for 61 yards. A young man who moved into the area from rural Pennsylvania prior to his junior season. Just had a hard time getting on the field last year because they had a young man named Jordan Ellis, who is now a freshman at the University of Virginia, playing in front of him. But Mark Fleetwood says they've been excited about him for a long time. They're excited about the opportunity to get him on the field for his senior season. Peachtree Ridge, we talked about the newness of the Archer program. Well, Peachtree Ridge is not that much older. School opened in 2003. That was their first football season. By 2006, they were the state champions. They tied Roswell. That was the final year before they had ties in the state championship game. The subsequent year, following all the controversy around that tie, they went to overtime in the state championship game. Last year, 8-4. Beat Lassiter in the first round, lost to Decula in the second. They were again state finalists in 2008. That's our trivia question. We won't tell you who they lost to. And 3 players that have made it to the NFL. Cameron Hayward is still there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pass is thrown complete to Robinson. A one-handed catch for Malik Robinson. and he is shoved out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. And on 4th down, we'll see if they go for the field goal.
Looks like they will, sending out the punt team, the kick team, I should say. Phillips coming out.
So Zaniel Phillips will come on for the field goal attempt here. This will be a 22-yard field goal attempt for Zaniel Phillips, replacing Evan Pantels, who was 10 of 14 on his field goals last season, and now kicking for Georgia State. Kick is blocked. And so Archer comes up with a big defensive stand. Just as it appeared, Larry, they were about to fall behind by 3 touchdowns. Yeah. They not only deny the touchdown, but they also deny the field goal.
Yeah, that's a big play right there. One more look at it right here. You can see him coming in, and who else? But number 1,
Jamias Williams.
That's right.
Blocked it with his face mask.
That's right. Which
he
means he was all over it.
Jumped the kick.
That's right.
And blocked it with his face mask.
Well, good job too by that young man. He's had a tough quarter playing against Gibbs, who's had his number a couple of times. He comes back there, makes the big play, keep the points off the board.
So Archer takes over at the 15-yard line. Play action, Bearden up top for Nails, and intercepted if he got his feet down, and he was not able to. Great play by Chad Clay.
Yeah, it's about the 4th near interception that they've had in this half. It's been a tough quarter. One more look at it. He's out of bounds, and he dropped the ball as well.
Yeah, he ended up dropping it, falling on top of it.
But again, Archer has to go downfield. They have to do something to break up that defense. It's really been packed in solid since the 2nd series.
Four-yard gain on the pass reception by Kyle Davis. They've done a really good job of, since that first big catch by Kyle Davis, of limiting his touches downfield. Now he's been able to get the ball, but only for short gainers.
Yeah. Yeah, when he goes downfield, they double team him. Bearden's arm not quite as strong as the number 1 quarterback Tiller, who again is injured. And that's kind of hurt this offense here in terms of their creativity, the things that they would like to do. But give Bearden credit. He stood in there and keeps fighting.
3rd down, that's Davis on the tunnel screen. Ball is out. Did he get on top of it?
Peachtree Ridge thinks they have it.
And it looks like Kyle Davis was able to get back on top of his own fumble.
Boy, that would have been a big blow to Archer. One more look at it here. You can see here he's just trying to find that seam. He's got great speed. The senior, great play right there on defense to knock the ball away.
I think it was Tyler Murphy. Got in there and got his hand in there and knocked the ball loose of Kyle Davis, but Davis able to get back on top of it. Tiller punting again. Nice bounce for Tiller and Archer. And so Peachtree Ridge will take over at the 39-yard line following a 45-yard kick. You don't have to, if you don't have the GPB Sports app yet, then you don't know what you're missing. You can watch tonight's game live on the app. If you have to leave home, get the latest scores from around the state, football news, blogs, and so much more. And what's more, it's all free at the App Store. Download it today.
If nothing else, Archer's defense at least got a little bit more of a break. Slightly. They've been on the field a long time here in the 2nd quarter.
Under 3 minutes to play in the half. Antinor running strong again. Antinor picked up about 3 on that play. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Antinor 13 carries for 64 yards. And Thrasher knocked out of bounds by Quinn Miller. but a first down for Thrasher as he crosses the 50. That'll stop the clock with 2:10 to play in the half.
Nice play there. You know, Thrasher showed just a little bit of acceleration there. He did the little stutter step. Better speed than what I thought he had. That was a nice move.
Thrasher, a 3-star quarterback, completed 60% of his passes a year ago for over 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Those numbers will no doubt go up this season, Larry, with D'Angelo Gibbs as a target.
Absolutely.
Did lose their top receiver from a year ago, Myron Burton, who had 53 catches and 6 touchdowns. He signed with Auburn. Second down from the 45. Staples to the 40 and a flag out at the end of the play. Jamias Williams making the tackle and Robbie Armstrong there as well, but a flag came out late. Personal foul on Archer.
Yeah, one more look at it. We kind of knew what this was going to be, Matt. You take a look again. Here's Staples. You see he goes down, and then here comes. He's already down, and then going right at the head. You just can't do that.
That was Robbie Armstrong, their leading tackler a week ago against Sandy Creek with 13 stops, but a big penalty on him gives Peachtree Ridge 1st and 10 from the 25. Staples following his block. Malik Robinson out there blocking for him, and Staples picks up about 4.5 or 5 on the play.
Andy Dyer's got a lot to go over here in the locker room here in about 90 seconds. As we've talked before in terms of the penalties last week, really killing him. The turnovers, no turnovers yet. But at the same time, boy, these penalties have really hurt Archer tonight.
Second down and 6. Up top it goes for a Hayward. What a catch, but I believe he was out of bounds. Tremendous catch by Connor Hayward. Unfortunately for him, unable to get his tippy toes down in the end zone.
That was a great athletic play, even though it doesn't turn into 6 points. And that was really impressive. Watch this again, just the concentration. He already sees the ball's been tipped and has the presence of mind to stay with it, hold on to it, grab it with one hand, but he was already to get out of bounds.
Third down. And Staples rumbles down to about the 16-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down. On 4th down, Larry, I bet they go for it here, given they had a field goal blocked on their last attempt.
Yeah, I think they will. They're close enough. Getting close to a minute left.
Going for it on 4th and 1. I think they were trying to draw him offside there, and they were not able to, and so a timeout called, I believe, by Peachtree Ridge.
Yeah, that's their first one. They
did have a flag down, and pardon me, there was a flag drop.
There's the call.
They're waving off the flag.
No flag, okay.
Timeout was called by Archer and not Peachtree Ridge. D'Angelo Gibbs, a star rising in Suwanee this evening. His name is D'Angelo Gibbs, showing why he is one of the top sophomores in the entire country.
Yeah, he's just really impressive to watch. You can see here, great speed. We talked again, great work habits, a great ability to make a lot of plays. And, you know, it's one thing, too, when you see this young man, he's 6'2", 220, but something, too, that's really impressive is that, you know, Coach Fleetwood told us he's not a prima donna. I mean, he's got great work ethic, doesn't get caught up in the hype and what people say about him. And he's only a sophomore. That's the thing, is how much better will he become in the next 2 years?
3 catches for 119 yards already tonight. Georgia fans, he says he will be in attendance for the Bulldogs and Clemson game tomorrow, 2 teams that have already offered him. It's amazing the offers that he has, and tonight is the first game of his sophomore season.
Right.
And now Peachtree Ridge calls timeout.
You know all the SEC, ACC schools are going to be all over him to try to keep the other schools from coming in, and even with that, look at all the great programs right here in the South. He's going to have plenty of options before it's all said and done.
Well, D'Angelo Gibbs has a couple of connections. He had 2 uncles that played in the National Football League. But how about the Peachtree Ridge players that have had their dads play in the NFL? Of course, Drew Butler and Cameron Hayward, DeAndre Atwater. Of course, they used to play here at Peachtree Ridge. And then you have the current players like Cam Jones, and Chad Clay, Connor Hayward, Balin Buchanan. Of course, his brother Ray Jr. played here as well.
Yep. Ironhead, great talent, good golf buddy for many years as well.
4th down and 1. And to the air they go on 4th and 1. And Thrasher is going to be thrown for a loss. They drop a flag, intentional grounding, not going to matter on 4th down. It's a loss of possession. It's a loss of down penalty. So the ball's going to go over on downs either way to Archer.
And Miller, again, we've called his number several times. He's just a sophomore. Watch him here. Great pursuit. Throws him down. He's made a couple of big plays here in this second quarter to keep this 14-0 deficit by Archer from being even worse.
Well, 2 big plays by Archer here defensively in this second quarter. So it'll be interesting to see whether Archer can make this work in their favor here before the half ends or even going forward into the second half.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the longest play has been. I'm not sure have they even had a first down here in the second quarter. It's been a real tough quarter for them.
They've got 1.
Okay.
1st and 10 from the 34. Randy Nails. Close to a 10-yard gain for Nails and a little bit more than 10, up to the 45 and a first down for Archer. The clock ticks under 40 seconds. Nails again, slips a tackle, and Nails across the 50 down to the 47-yard line. Loosens things up a little bit, Larry. Maybe they can get to the air here, maybe even get in field goal range.
Yeah, very quickly here. Nails one more look at it again. He's your big back right there. Great, shakes off the nice tackle in the backfield, gets it up close. Time is ticking, though. 1 timeout left.
Bearden going for Nails. There was contact. And a flag comes in from the far side of the field. But there was clearly a lot of contact on the pass route.
Yeah, I did make correction, by the way. No timeouts left. I forgot that last one was charged to Archer. They're saying this one is against Peachtree Ridge. Nice double pump there by Bearden. Contact there by Clay, number 10. It's against the Lions. 12 seconds left. Can Archer get a score here before halftime?
See where they end up spotting this ball. So a 15-yard penalty marked off against Peachtree Ridge. So the ball spotted at the 32 with 12 seconds left in the quarter. Time for at least 1 more play and maybe 2 quick ones to get in field goal range. But remember, they do not have any timeouts. So got to run a play out of bounds. Bearden going for the end zone and intercepted by Chad Clay.
Well, Archer, you had to go for it. Good play being drawn up, and again, too many blue shirts and a tipped ball. How many times do we see that? That really isn't on Bearden. He made a good throw, but the ball was tipped, and Clay back behind the play waiting on it, and it's a turnover, the first of the game for either team.
They really did not have a lot of options there, given that they had no timeouts remaining.
Under pressure, I thought he made a really nice throw right there. Good play there by the defense coming over to knock the ball away. One more look at it here. Bearden throws it in. Three seconds left right now on the clock. Big defensive stop by Peachtree Ridge. Again, you know, the 2 big touchdowns we've seen, but some good defensive plays by both sides.
So Peachtree Ridge goes into their safety formation. Thrasher takes a knee, and that's the end of the first half.
And that's the end of the first half. The score,
Peachtree Ridge with a 14-0 lead on Archer here at halftime on a 25-yard touchdown pass from Chance Thrasher to D'Angelo Gibbs, and then a 50-yard pass to Gibbs that set up the 7-yard touchdown run. But it could have been a lot worse for Archer, as Peachtree Ridge had 2 more great opportunities in the second quarter and failed to come up with any more points.
Yeah, the blocked field goal, great play right there by the young man Williams that got the block on that. And then later on, again, as you mentioned on the 4th down play, the stop there, the quarterback sack, it could be a 24-0 game right now, really. Archer fortunate and lucky to get those 2 nice stops, the good defensive plays there, and a chance now to get back in this game after halftime.
So let's check in down on the field. John Nelson is standing by with Coach Mark Fleetwood.
Thank you very much, Matt. That first half, your kids wanted to come out and hit folks. They really did.
Yeah, the tempo was really good there. I wish we'd have taken advantage of all of the times we had it down there, but I was still good. We get out of here at 14-0 and a half, and we got to come back like it's 0-0 because this is a really good team.
And I know offensively you were taking advantage of life on the edges. D'Angelo's had a big first half.
Yeah, he did. Made 3 or 4 really good catches there on the deep ball and set us up down here in the end zone. We ended up not taking advantage of 1 or 2 of them, and we got to do that. But just proud of them in the first half. Now we got to go in here, regroup, make sure we come back out at 0-0 attitude, and let's go get this thing.
Thanks, Fleet.
Thank you.
All right, send it back over to Mark. Halftime show starts right now.
John Nelson, thank you very much. Coming up on the GPB Football Fridays in Georgia halftime show, we will hear from both the Archer and the Peachtree Ridge marching bands. We'll also talk to both principals. Grace Olson will check in with some proud parents. We'll also have scores and the social media world as well. All that and more coming up on the GPB halftime show. Right now, Peachtree Ridge leads Archer 14-0 at the half.
Georgia cotton farmers want you to know cotton is grown in 91 Georgia counties on over 1 million acres. Cotton makes a $2.5 billion economic impact and accounts for over 15,000 jobs in Georgia. Cotton's innovative production has lowered water use per pound of cotton by 75% since 1980. 1 bale of cotton can make 215 pairs of denim jeans or 700 towels. Cotton is a natural choice for
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you, Cigna.
At the heart of our community are the businesses that don't skip a beat. Georgia's electric membership cooperatives stand behind local commerce. Whether keeping farms running or shining a light on new ventures, we bring business, large and small, to our communities. Creating jobs, driving development, supporting dreams. Georgia's EMCs, powering our businesses, lighting the way.
This is 88.5 FM, Atlanta's news source for your news and information.
Good morning. Let's start the conversation. What's on your mind, Atlanta? We want to hear from you.
The news and information you've been looking for is here on 88.5.
From Peachtree City to Piedmont Park, from Norcross to Decatur, GPB Atlanta is the source for stories from your community.
All news, all information, all day.
There are so many magical places in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Waterfalls, flowers, and babbling brooks.
The mountains have a certain peacefulness that I don't think you find anyplace else.
When I'm in the mountains, I feel like I'm myself, like I'm home.
This is a place to lose that cell phone signal and find yourself.
Sunday at 7:30 on GPB.
Welcome back to the Lions Den. We are at halftime. Peachtree Ridge leading Archer 14-0 at the break. GPB wants you to get involved online and with our GPB sports staff, which is just out of this world. For more in the world of social media, let's check in with our social media correspondent, Grace Olson. Grace?
Thank you, Mark. Here I am in an absolute sea of blue. These Peachtree Ridge Lions brought a heck of a crowd out here tonight. Now they've got an old tradition and a new tradition they just started tonight for the Archer game. Tell me about it.
The new tradition is all of our overalls. We're called the Lumberjack Lions, and we're starting that tonight. But the old tradition is the lion head. It's been passed down for about 4 years now.
All right, well, I love it. And these guys are called The Tribe on Twitter, a massive crowd. How'd you drum up the support on social media?
We just put signs around the school and promoted it at lunch on Twitter, and everybody just loves to come out. I mean, we're Peachtree Ridge.
Well, they did a fantastic job on a Labor Day weekend. Also, make sure to check out the GPB football app. You can download it on the App Store. You'll get your scores, your updates all season long. And also check out the live streaming game at gpb.org/sports if you have to walk away from your TV. Now, when that pass was tipped in the end zone, I heard these drums roll and the crowd roar. Let me hear it again to end this segment. Let's go! All right, let's send it back over the park.
All right, they are fired up at Peachtree Ridge. Grace Olson right in the middle of all that excitement and some very great chapeaus on their heads as well. Lots of excitement here in the first half. Let's check in with John Nelson. He is standing by with Ken Johnson, the principal at Archer High School. John?
Thank you, Mark, very much. It is time to find out what's going on at Archer High School with first name Mr., last name Johnson. What is going on these days?
Well, we've got a lot of great things going on at Archer these days. Obviously, we're proud of our athletic programs. Our fine arts programs are doing well, our advanced placement programs. Just a lot of great stuff going on at Archer. We're very proud, have a great community out there.
All right, it is time to play the game. Are you smarter? Let's find out if you are, in fact, smarter than your students. The question here is, for the first time ever, the National Football League is asking recording artists to do what in the Super Bowl? Is it A, sing a cappella? Depends on the artist. B, pay money to perform. C, coach the defense, which might help especially after last year. Or D, sell hot dogs. Which is it?
I'm going to say pay money to perform.
You are correct. You are smarter than your students.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Thanks for hanging out with us, and good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's send it back. All right, that's it for the first part. When we come back, we're going to have more of the halftime. We're going to find out what's going on at Peachtree Ridge. We'll have their band as well. Halftime here. Football Fridays in Georgia from Peachtree Ridge continues after this timeout. Stay with us right here.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you. Cigna.
This moment, getting here took 3 years of sleepless nights and postponed vacations. Your dad said play it safe. Your husband kept the faith. But franchising is why you partnered with Regions in the first place. We share your vision for moving forward. And at moments like this, that makes all the difference. Is your business at a turning point? Regions.
Football Fridays in Georgia is live every Friday on GPB during football season, and you never know who you're going to run into. Sometimes it's a very famous comedian who thinks you might be a redneck. I've interviewed Jeff Foxworthy before, but this was one of those rare times when I got to interview him as a dad. His daughter was homecoming queen.
I'm thrilled for her tonight. This is her night.
And I also got to tell everyone what Jeff's middle name is. I cannot wait for this season of Football Fridays. Go online and let us know some of your favorite moments.
Ever think all that homework won't lead to anything?
Enter GPB's video contest. You could win a cash prize and make a difference.
Did you mean to throw this away?
How can you help stop the drop?
And that's the moon over Suwanee, Georgia. Peachtree Ridge, the Lions leading the Archer Tigers 14-0 at the halftime. D'Angelo Gibbs, a couple of big plays tonight for the Peachtree Ridge Lions. Now let's send it over to John Nelson, who is standing by with the principal of Peachtree Ridge, Jeff Matthews. John.
Thank you very much, Mark. Time to go back into the principal office, a place I was quite familiar with during my days. Time to catch up with Dr. Jeff. What's going on at Peachtree Ridge these days?
We're off to a great start. Our students are really taking some ownership in the classroom. They're doing wonderful things there. Our teachers continue to raise the level of rigor and have high expectations. All of our programs are doing well. Fine arts are doing well. Our academics continue to rise, and we're enjoying some nice athletics out here tonight.
All right, it is time for you to accept the challenge. Are you smarter? Let's find out if you are, in fact, smarter than your students. Here we go with the question. Which of these celebrities recently rejected the Ice Bucket Challenge? Become very popular these days. Is it A, Bill Cosby, B, Vanilla Ice, C, Pamela Anderson, or D, Missy Elliott?
Interesting. I think I'm going to have to go with Pamela Anderson on that one.
You are correct, Dr. Jeff. You are absolutely correct on that one. And, you know, we've been talking a little bit about what's going on here at Peachtree Ridge, and you got a great student turnout here tonight, too, on a holiday weekend.
You know, it's wonderful to see everybody come out and enjoy such a game. It was a little bit hotter today, and now that it's cooled off a little bit, the students are having a wonderful time. The school spirit is really outstanding tonight. And I tell you what, it's a proud night to be a Lion. Go Lions.
All right, let's send it over to Mark because we got the band coming up. Mark, go ahead and talk to us about the Peachtree Ridge Band.
Hey, John, thank you very much. You know, it's just a great event here tonight. It is our 4th season of Football Fridays in Georgia. It is week 1 of Football Fridays in Georgia. We've got a great schedule all the way through, all the way to the state championships. Now I hear the band in the background, so let's check in with the Peachtree Ridge Marching Band presented by Regions Bank.
I think you're good. Unless you want to do a band, I think that's it.
Peachtree Ridge Marching Band brought to you by Regions Bank. Now let's check out the Georgia EMC scoreboard. We've got some great scores from around the state of Georgia. Start off with our top-ranked team in our GPB poll, North Gwinnett. They lead North Cobb 15-6, that game in the second quarter. Norcross, we'll see them next week, the two-time defending 6A champs. They lead Brookwood by a touchdown in the second. We've got Hillgrove leading Shiloh 7-0 in the second. Marietta leading Walton 10-8 in the second. We've got Milton. Well, there next week, Milton will play Norcross. They lead Alpharetta 10-0 in the second quarter. Also, we've got Valdosta leading TCC. We've got Lowndes leading Plant High. Hoover and Colquitt County, no score there. Kell over Laster, and Grayson leads Gainesville 14-0. For complete Georgia scores, you can just download our app. Let's check in now with John Nelson. He comes to you with his popular feature, Backroads and Backfields, brought to you by the Georgia Cotton Commission.
The natural choice for Georgia.
All right, let's check in and talk about the coaching carousel.
Something that always happens about 20% every single year. There's a lot of folks who decided they're going to file paperwork with the U.S. Postal Service. Last year with coaches in high schools here in the state of Georgia was no different.
Looking at all the change in the offseason, there were some heavyweights who changed addresses, and it all started really when Ray Van Teague retired at Carrollton. Up comes Ed Dudley from Ware, which meant Franklin Stevens went back south to Waycross from Barnesville, and it's been an interesting transition from one school to the other.
It's been a heck of a transition in regards to just the moving from Lamar coming down here. I came down a little bit early back in April, then I had to wait for my family to get here in early June, and then we've had some coaches that we've hired and getting those guys situated along with their families. So the transition, it's been interesting, you know, teaching kids a new way of doing things. They've had a lot of success here, but we would like to do things a little bit different than they've done them in the past, and just trying to get kids to understand the expectations and how we're going to go about our day-to-day routines.
Another Metro name to head south was Rocky Hidalgo, now the new guy at Glenn Academy in Brunswick, who says the carousel comes down to one thing.
I think a big part of it is after the economic collapse that people couldn't sell homes. So I think, and school districts couldn't hire coaches, and there was a lot more financial emphasis on that stuff. Coaches couldn't move in, you couldn't get the right coaches to because they couldn't sell homes. So I think with everything, the economy picking up the last couple of years, it's picked up. People have been having some mobility to move from one area of the state to another, and that's encouraged people to make changes.
Mo Dixon comes back to the state of Georgia to take Rocky's old gig. Other big names, Frank Barden went across the state to be the new head coach at Stevens County since Travis Noland left Stevens County and headed to Watkinsville and Oconee County. Down south, John Lindsay moves from Ocilla and Irwin County to Adel to take over at Cook, since Ken Kofer moved from the Hornets to Bacon County. And that's just a little over 10% of the moves as the carousel brings renewal in 2014.
And that is the way it is shaped up. 72 coaching changes, a lot. Next week, Mark, when we go back roads, we're going to check in with the folks at Westover Albany, looking to do a lot of damage after their best season ever last year.
All right, Backroads and Backfields brought to you by the Georgia Cotton Commission.
The natural choice for Georgia.
All right, now over to Grace Olson with a look at our rent check. Grace?
All right, guys, this is Rent Check. This is where we check in with the parents of one of those special athletes on the field tonight and see how much they know about their son with a little bit of trivia. I understand, though, you have an older son, Billy Best, who played here, was a quarterback at Peachtree Ridge, and he's here tonight, right?
We did. Yes, he is.
All right, and now we're going to also flash up a few photos and embarrass him for a little bit. We've got 3 photos up there, and he was wearing his football gear. What's your favorite memory from when he was younger?
Probably when Blake was, I don't know, he was somewhere in elementary school. They were playing a playoff game at Shiloh, and he used to be a fullback. And he could be caught very easily, but it took about 4 or 5 kids to bring him down. And it was just kind of fun. You'd see this pile of the defense, and all of a sudden Blake was in the middle.
Wow, special memory. Okay, we got time for one question. Okay, well, actually, we don't have time for the question. Sorry, we're going to have to kill the trivia. Back to you, Mark, on the set.
All right, Grace, thanks very much. Time now for our career play of the game, brought to you by the Technical College System of Georgia. The healthcare field is broad and full of rewarding careers. Medical and clinical lab jobs are growing at a rate of over 2% annually. Jobs in biotechnology labs are growing at about the same rate as Georgia continues to compete in high-paying science and technology fields. Other areas of healthcare, like pharmacy and technology, have provided stable jobs for many years. Even working as a veterinary tech can be a rewarding way to make a living. That's why healthcare is back in the spotlight as our career play of the game. This message brought to you by the Technical College System of Georgia. Visit tcs.edu for more information on starting your new career. Now, back up to the broadcast booth. Matt and Larry will call the second half of this terrific game as we kick off our 4th season of Football Fridays in Georgia. Guys?
Nothing prepares you better for a great career than the Technical College System of Georgia. TCSG colleges produce graduates with the knowledge and training today's top employers are looking for. With campuses across Georgia, state-of-the-art facilities, and outstanding instructors with real-world experience, It's the kind of affordable college education that will fast-track you into a rewarding career. We're building a better future for you. Contact the TCSG College in your area today or go to tcsg.edu.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you. Cigna.
So, what do you daydream about? But school is just getting in the way, right? Wrong.
The classes that really help us out are science classes, your math classes.
If you want a dream job like this,
Well, part of my job is actually riding rides.
or this,
Now let's go ziplining, come on!
or this, or this, or this,
I've turned what I enjoy doing at home to something that I get paid to do.
then head to gpb.org/fastforward.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Football Fridays in Georgia. We are in Suwanee, Georgia. We are at halftime of the Peachtree Ridge Archer game. Right now, Peachtree Ridge is leading Archer 14-0. It has been a terrific first half of play. Chance Thrasher with a couple of great plays. He threw a long touchdown pass to D'Angelo Gibbs from 25 yards out. That made it quickly 7-0. And then those two guys combined on a 50-yard pass play. They got it all the way down to the 1-yard line. From there, a couple of plays later, it was Chance Thrasher. He takes it in from about the 5-yard line out. And right now, we are sitting here at 14-0 with Peachtree Ridge on top. We've got a great season of games for you here on GPB. Next week, we head to Milton as Norcross will take on Milton. And of course, Norcross is the two-time defending 6A state champs. It's going to be a terrific game up there as Football Fridays in Georgia continues. You saw Mark Fleetwood there. He's done a terrific job last year getting to the second round of the playoffs here at Peachtree Ridge. He's got his team loaded for bear today. Archer in the preseason was ranked #1 by several polls. They lost, of course, 21-13 to Sandy Creek in the Corky Kell Classic last week at McEachern High School. So they come in 0-1. This is Peachtree Ridge's first game of the season. And a lot of people were interested to see how that would play out. It's Peachtree Ridge's first game. Many coaches tell you that the biggest change in a team's year, the most improvement comes between the first game and the second game of the season. And so everything was going for Archer. They were thinking maybe they'd make a big improvement. Right now, they have yet to find the scoreboard. Of course, they did have Gabe Tiller, their starting quarterback. He is out, and that is a big, big loss for the Archer Tigers. But right now, it is 14-0. And let's toss it up to Larry and Matt for the call on the second half. Guys?
Lights. All right, thank you, Mark. Interesting first half, 14-0. Peachtree Ridge leading Archer as we get ready for the start of the second half. But Archer came up with a couple of big stops there in that second quarter. It could have been a lot worse than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it sure could have. I mean, you talk about, again, we mentioned that blocked field goal, the quarterback sack on the 4th down. That was one. That second quarter was really tough on Archer. A little bit of a longer halftime here to kind of get the guys, get a little more rest, a little more fluids in them. But you're exactly right. Archer right now, you've got to come out and try to find an answer to this because offensively you're a bit limited with some of the injuries that you've had. But to be down 14-0 right now, this is a game you can come back and win. But you got to be able not just to make some stops. They've done that now. They've held on defense a couple of times, but you got to find some offense.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights and a lot of Chance Thrasher and D'Angelo Gibbs.
Yeah, Thrasher, again, we've talked about before, getting some looks from some Division I colleges. And Gibbs, again, just a sophomore. We've talked before, Matt. You talked about just the athletic family, not just him, but also so many of these players on this Peachtree Ridge team. Thrasher here, I thought, showed a really nice, great play call here. Give yourself some options on offense because the passing game is going so well. But instead, he hangs on to it and keeps it himself, and it's the 14-0 game where we are right now at halftime.
All right, let's check in with John Nelson. He's standing by with Andy Dyer.
Thanks, Matt. Just caught up with Coach Dyer before he went over to the other sideline, and basically he was telling us that offense of his was in jail most of the first half. He admitted, yeah, we only had that one first down until that last drive. Just went in to remind the players that it's okay. It's a 4-quarter game. We're only down 2 scores, and we have to take advantage of the opportunities as they're presented for us, and especially defensively pick things up, especially on the edges, considering that D'Angelo Gibbs had that really big first half that he had. So Archer's going to come out with that mindset. Once again, you hear about coaches talk about it all the time. 0-0, or technically, really, Archer's down 2-0, and they've got to get those 2 scores and get that third to get the win tonight. Let's send it back upstairs and light the candle for the third quarter.
All right, thank you, John. Let's take a look at the first half stats. You see Peachtree Ridge dominating in the total yardage, 249 to 89, and in first downs, 10-3.
But as you mentioned, too, it was the young D'Angelo Gibbs with over 100 yards receiving there in the first half. He made up for so many of those yards. Look at the time of possession, how even it is. This is, again, Archer holding on to the ball but not be able to do anything with it. Not able to get the first downs, only 3. We mentioned, again, just 1 there, as we talked about, until that final drive there right before the half. They got to come up stronger. They're holding the ball. They're making some defensive stops, but it's those 2 big plays right now that's really killing them going into the third quarter.
Gibbs with 3 catches for 119 yards and that touchdown, the 25-yard reception we showed you a few moments ago. Thrasher 7 of 14 for 149, his 1 touchdown run and 1 touchdown pass. And Antenor, 14 carries for 65 yards. Peachtree Ridge will be on offense as we start this third quarter.
Let's see what adjustments they've made as well. We'll see if Altenor's jersey has down to his ankles yet. The tearaway jersey didn't tear away.
Time now for our GoldBuildGeorgia.com kickoff as we start the second half. And Clay will not be able to return that one, and so Peachtree Ridge will start at the 20-yard line.
Peachtree Ridge right now getting so many things going. We saw it was Staples at running back and not Altenor in that final drive there on their last drive in the first half. We'll see again resting Altenor. How much will we see of him? What will they do to get Gibbs open? Gibbs has owned every defensive back he's gone up against. We expected that he and Jamias Williams to go after 2 sophomores. But again, look at Chance Thrasher and what he's done. 7 of 14, 149, as you mentioned. Most of those going to Gibbs and the 1 carry. He's made some good, smart decisions, and he's got a 14-0 lead to work with here to start the second half.
Antenor, not much running room as Quinn Miller, the middle linebacker, made the stop. Antenor now with 15 carries, up close to 70 yards. Looks like Antenor's got a new jersey here. After he had his number 20 all torn up in that first half, he's now wearing 24 here to start the second half. We'll make sure that's the case as Gibbs gets the flare pass, and Gibbs is dropped at the 29-yard line.
A nice tackle right there. A couple of defensive backs there. Nick Blakely among them. We're hearing here in the press box that it is Altenor they're checking as well. We do believe that that's him. Again, as we mentioned, if you saw in the first half, the tearaway jersey, as Miller got a hold and wouldn't let go of it.
Not a tearaway jersey. The Archer just turned it into a tearaway jersey.
Wasn't designed like that, but it was a piece of jersey hanging down to his knee. That's how long that was.
3rd down and 1 for Peachtree Ridge. Ball at the 29 as we've started the third quarter here. Matt Stewart along with Larry Smith, and Antenor has the first down as he crashes out across the 40-yard line and up to the 41.
Problem there with his helmet, but Altenor here, as you talked before, first year as a starter. I tell you what he's shown so far, he's primed for a big senior year for the Lions.
12 yards there for Antenor. He rushed for 134 yards as a backup to Jordan Ellis last year on 28 carries. He might get that tonight. Had 65 at the half as Malik Staples gets the carry, and Staples picks up about 4, maybe 5, up to the 46.
Good mix of plays here by Peachtree Ridge. Shuffling guys in and out. A lot of talent. They're young, but they're very talented.
Right up the middle, Malik Staples has a first down at the 47. Really impressed with this Peachtree Ridge team, Larry, in the first audition of the season here in the opener. Last year, 8-4. Their losses during the regular season came to Collins Hill, Norcross, and North Gwinnett, all teams that finished 7-1 in the region. They throttled Lassiter in an upset, 59-20 in the first round before losing to Decula in the second round. And it really looks like they've got a nice mix here. They talked about Thrasher being the bridge between the young and the old on this team. And I think they're set up very well as we take a look at their schedule for the rest of the season here. Parkview coming up next. That is a non-region game. And McEachern, both Parkview and McEachern back-to-back on the road before they open their region schedule at Meadow Creek. They won't play here again until September 26th.
Wow. That's a tough stretch in between as well. Norcross later, North Gwinnett. You know, week off in between.
Well,
those
they have
two.
North Gwinnett, and the thing about the schedule this year is they get North Gwinnett, Norcross, and Collins Hill all at home this year. Last year they played all three of them on the road. Could be a difference maker in the schedule this year as Antinor gets down to the 42-yard line, 4.5, 5 yards on the play for Antinor, who's up to 84 yards on 16 carries. Make that 17 carries. Thrasher across the middle and off the hands of Tyler Campbell.
Led him just a little bit too much. Campbell saying it's his fault. Feels he should have had that. One more look at this. Watch the line play up front right now. Thrasher, this Archer defense has been on the field for so many plays right now. Yeah, Campbell should have had that. The senior wishes he had that one back. But great protection right now for Thrasher in that throw. He had all day long to look at his targets, and Campbell couldn't come up with it.
4 senior starters on that Peachtree Ridge offensive line. Thrasher. Campbell behind the defense and couldn't hold on to him.
I think that one hurts more than the other one. I like what I see from Chance Thrasher. Again, he's got, get the advantage. You have that kind of time to throw. You can do a lot of good things. But here, didn't have as good footwork as he was kind of moving around there in the pocket, but still, anytime you can do that and put the ball right in the hands of your receiver, I mean, he hits him right in the hands. He had too many gloves on. Take the gloves off.
4th down, Peachtree Ridge now punting. Zaniel Phillips lets it go close to the 50. A heavy rush. He got rid of it. And
might have got a piece of that.
End over end as it came off the foot of Zaniel Phillips. Daquan Smith might have gotten a piece of that, only went 27 yards, and so Archer's first possession of this third quarter will come at the 15-yard line.
But once again, give Archer some credit. I mean, we talk about Campbell, a couple of drops, but again, the Archer defense holding could have been much worse, but again, they stand right now. They've dodged several bullets and down only 14-0 right now. Now their first time on offense here in the second half.
Randy Nails out across the 40-yard line. Randy Nails, 8 carries for 31 yards in the first half. Nearly picked up 31 right there. 26 on his first carry of the second half.
And that was a great play right there. Great block. I missed the number of who that was, but that was a play right there that he blocked 2 defenders at once. Great pickup.
Nails, number 4, tackled by number 4. Breon Dixon making the tackle.
I think Archer really needs, that was a good start in that first play right there. Back to Nails, not quite as big of a game, and they really need to move the ball, at least move the ball, and show they can do that right now to get back in this game.
2nd down and 7, ball at the 44. Ball comes right back to Bearden. You talk about good luck. Joe Smith, or Chad Clay, made sure he didn't go in. Oh, it was Joe Smith, number 18. Made sure he didn't get any further, but what a great break for Archer as the ball ricocheted quickly out of the hands of Randy Nails.
Yeah, living right now, that's another one that, again, never really had the ball. Kicked off the defender's foot. It's kind of a strange play. Archer very fortunate. Good bounce.
3rd and 13. Heavy rush, quarterback sack. Bearden dropped by Breon Dixon for a big loss back at the 32-yard line and 4th down for Archer.
Yeah, big play there by Dixon. Again, one of these young players we've talked about for Peachtree Ridge, doing so many things for these guys. Just came through unimpeded. Just a sophomore. Number of big plays by him. One more look at it.
That's the second quarterback sack for Breon Dixon tonight.
As we said in the first half, he's someone already getting a lot of looks from SEC and ACC teams, and he's showing you why.
Tiller with time to punt. Bad kick. Bounces backwards, did not even get to the first down marker. Out of bounds at the 50-yard line. A 16-yard kick by Tiller.
That's tough after the strong start, the big gain by Nails there on the first play of the drive. Everything stalled from there. And then to not be able to take advantage of your special teams and start the ball on defense in your own territory. Peachtree City starting at the 49 of Archer.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions. Peachtree Ridge appearing to be a program back on the way up. They had their first losing season since their first 2 seasons back in 2012. They were a disappointing 4-6 bounce back last year to go 8-4 and reach the second round of the playoffs. Remember, they started 5-0 last year as well, but off to a good start here tonight. Still a lot of football to play, but leading Archer 14-0. They've really dominated this game. Archer has not been able to get anything going offensively behind their backup quarterback, Will Bearden. Gibbs, nice defensive play by Jamias Williams out there to drop him immediately.
Yeah, that was all Williams. Well-designed play. Again, you've got the flanker there to block him and free up Gibbs, but he fought through it, knocks him out of the way, and made the tackle. Great play there by Williams. One more look at this. Campbell trying to block him. That's just Williams fighting through it. Great athletic play right there. Big football play on defense.
Been a nice matchup tonight. We've seen Jamias Williams get the best of D'Angelo Gibbs once. Gibbs get the best of him on a couple of occasions. They've got Nick Blakely, the spur, out there lined up against Gibbs right now. Instead, they run the ball to Antonor, who cannot get back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to be 3rd down and long.
Yeah, Rayshawn Judge, the outside linebacker, the senior, made the tackle there, helped by Robbie Armstrong as well, and on a part of that. Archer, again, we've talked about struggling on offense, but defense very opportunistic and finding ways to keep this team in the game and keep it at a 14-0 lead.
Lots of time for Thrasher. Being chased, and now he runs and takes on the defender, lowered his shoulder, a nice run by Thrasher. And the Archer player who took the brunt of that hit still is yet to get up off the ground. But a holding call on Peachtree Ridge going to negate it. Yeah, the Archer player didn't catch the number just yet, but he got run over by Thrasher. And remember, we told you that Thrasher's up to 218. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah, he was, what, 170 as a sophomore? He's really put on a lot of weight. One more look at it here.
Watch him run over the guy out there on the edge.
Yeah, he just turns up. Thought he's going out of bounds.
That was Aramis Bryant.
Yeah.
No, not Aramis Bryant. There was somebody else who got shaken up out there. It wasn't Bryant.
It's Dylan Bliss, I believe.
Dylan Bliss, the Will linebacker. So we'll take a timeout with 6.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, and Peachtree Ridge leading by a couple of touchdowns.
This moment, getting here took 3 years of sleepless nights and postponed vacations. Your dad said play it safe. Your husband kept the faith. But franchising is why you partnered with Regions in the first place. We share your vision for moving forward. And at moments like this,
Hi, Steve.
that makes all the difference. Is your business at a turning point? Regions.
At the heart of our community are the businesses that don't skip a beat, Georgia's electric membership cooperatives stand behind local commerce. Whether keeping farms running or shining a light on new ventures, we bring business, large and small, to our communities. Creating jobs, driving development, supporting dreams. Georgia's EMCs, powering our businesses, lighting the way.
Peachtree Ridge leading Archer 14-0 halfway through this third quarter. GPB's longest running local show. Georgia Traveler continues to scour the Peach State for all the newest, oldest, weirdest, and wildest attractions for you and your family to explore. The crew will take you from scenic getaways to high adrenaline adventures and, of course, some of the best eats in Georgia. Watch Georgia Traveler Sundays at 7 and look forward to new episodes coming this January. Dylan Bliss looks like he's going to be okay as they help him to the bench. We'll try to get further word on his condition in the moments ahead. Now it's third down and a long way to go. They're back at their 32. They need to get to the other 39. They run a bubble screen and a big hit.
Yeah, it's Miller, Quentin Miller, still down.
And Gibbs is too. His helmet ended up on the ground away from him. Miller is yet to get up.
It was a big collision. There's one more look at it on the replay from the other angle.
Yeah, Rayshon Judge and then Quinn Miller hit him low around the knee, and he might have gotten kneed in the helmet. He might have taken a knee right to the helmet.
Gibbs is up. That's the first good sign. Now you see movement there by Miller. That's a good sign as well. Gibbs coming off under his own power. Quentin Miller, sophomore linebacker. One more look at it again from another angle. This is now from the field. Yeah, goes in, knee right to the head.
Wasn't a whole lot of movement from him initially, but now he's sitting up, which is a good sign.
It's a good sign, very good sign.
A 6'1", 220-pound sophomore linebacker, 12 tackles a week ago at Sandy Creek. And Andy Dyer refers to him as the veteran of their linebacking score, and he's just a sophomore. That's because he played every snap last year as a freshman.
You talk about futures. We've talked a lot about the young players of Peachtree Ridge. This is a young man here that we're going to hear a lot about, this Archer team and Andy Dyer's squad in the next 3 seasons.
Yeah, he's a good-looking linebacker.
Yes,
hopefully he's okay.
On the other side of that, once we get past that and both players again coming off on their own power, that's the best we can hope for. It's a fourth down, and once again, Archer's defense has held.
They've lost back-to-back linebackers on this possession. Miller and Bliss go to the bench in this sequence of plays, and so we'll see what happens if they're able to get back out there when Archer's defense returns. Tigers load up the line, and Daniels boots it away. Jamias Williams will let it hit in front of him, then take it on the hop. And Williams going backwards, in trouble, dragged down at the 22, and a flag is out.
Penalty flag there, though. Let's see which way it's going to go. Maybe blocking the back, possibly.
Personal foul. They're going to call it a horse collar.
Yeah.
Like to see that again. Looked like he had him by the jersey, which you can do. The horse collar applies to grabbing the shoulder pads from behind.
Yeah.
But we'll take another look at it right here.
Take a look, though, where the official was when he made this call. He grabs the jersey, but the official can't see that. He's in front of Williams. I think from his angle, he felt that he pulled him down by the neck. That's a tough call for Peachtree Ridge.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
So a break for Archer.
Busted play.
And Bearden is able to get close to 10 yards out of the busted play.
How about that? They'll take it.
You know, we've talked a lot about Bearden and his lack of arm strength comparative to Gabe Tiller. But again, Andy Dyer looked at this situation with their injuries, Bearden being one of them, and of course Connor Redmond not playing tonight, neither is Kobe Smith, and looked at this as an advantage or an opportunity, I should perhaps say, to take a look at some players that don't normally get as much playing time in advance of the region schedule. As Jamias Williams on the carry, gets up to the 50-yard line, picked up a couple. That's another one. Connor Redmond, we have not talked a lot about him. Of course, he's missing his second consecutive game. He's a 3-star tight end already committed to South Carolina and a big weapon for them, who had 32 catches and 5 touchdown receptions as a junior last year. Off the hands of Williams, he needs to get on top of that. That might have been a live ball. We'll see if they spot that as a lateral or a forward pass.
Yeah, I like the play call here again, trying to move him around, try to make some things happen, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, but he just took his eyes off the ball.
Yeah, they're going to rule that as a lateral and a loss of yardage on the play, not an incomplete pass. So the ball is spotted at the 39-yard line. There's Gabe Tiller, the starting quarterback. Tiller a week ago threw for 239 yards in their loss against Sandy Creek. They miss him tonight. Bearden up top and broken up. Again, Chad Clay right there in the mix, and Joe Smith. They've done a really good job of bringing that safety over the top and helping out on the deep ball.
Yeah, Chad Clay has been everywhere. He had the interception there at the end of the first half off the tip ball. Been involved in a number of plays there on defense. One more look at this again, and it's just the safety. You can see Smith there as well. They're just looking back, watching his eyes. Want to keep the ball out of the hands of their receivers. We've yet to call Kyle Davis's name here in the third quarter, the star receiver. Both defenses playing well.
Now Chad Clay stands deep. He was just offered by Georgia 3 weeks ago. Ball will hit at the 30 and roll dead at about the 25. 36-yard kick by Gabe Tiller. Let's get an injury update from John Nelson.
All right, Matt, here we go. Talking about the linebacking core for Archer. You saw with Bliss, that was probably the most tape I've ever seen on an ankle in the third quarter in the history of high school football. He was running up and down the sidelines. He's going back in. Quinn Miller, right now, they're going through the what happened, asking him the questions, and you saw on the replay what happened as everyone was going into that pile. And now they're going through probably concussion protocol. It's that 45 question and answer session, and he's got to answer them all correctly. But don't look for Quinn Miller to be showing up on the field anytime soon.
That's a big loss if he can't get back out there. Christian Sutton with the catch, and Sutton up across the 30-yard line. You know, talking to Andy Dyer down on the field prior to the game, he said, you know, last year we went undefeated in the regular season. We were 10-0. We went 11-1. Didn't have any injuries, and you know, it's kind of caught up with them this year. And another loss if Miller is not able to get back out there tonight.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for him, and you mentioned that the tight end going to South Carolina already has yet to see the field this season. Hope they can just get healthy.
Kobe Smith is a huge nose tackle that is just a big old run stopper, run clogger at 6'4", 305, and just a junior. Kobe Smith, you know, he's already got offers from NC State, West Virginia, Iowa, and Indiana, and he's not on the field for Archer tonight. You replace that 305 with a 215 at nose tackle.
That's a little bit of a difference.
Thrasher, thrown, complete. Forward motion. got him to the 40-yard line. Dondre Sanderson making the grab. First catch of the season for him.
He's another sophomore. You can see there. There's Redmond there again. He's not dressed right now. Not playing tonight. One of the many injured right now for Andy Dyer's Archer squad.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line following that catch by Sanderson. Nothing doing. Ryan Morrell, who is the backup Mike linebacker, now in there with Quinn Miller over on the sideline. He made the tackle.
On the other side, I don't think we've seen DeAndre Gibbs either. No, he's coming off right now. No, that's Sanderson coming off the field. I don't think Gibbs has been in there.
Yeah, Gibbs is getting worked on. I see him now down on the sideline. They're working on, it looks like, his left calf muscle, and also Connor Hayward is getting worked on too. Chad Clay up close to the 50-yard line after the catch, bringing up 3rd down and short for Walton, or rather for Peachtree Ridge. Of course, Clay, I was thinking Walton because Clay played at Walton last year and had 39 catches and 5 touchdown receptions for the Raiders last year before transferring from the Cobb County School to Gwinnett County. So 3rd down. And now a 1st down. Tyler Campbell with the catch.
He held on to that one. 1st down. So earlier in the quarter, back-to-back dropped passes by Campbell. Could have had a touchdown in the second one. But the senior redeems himself there at a 1st down for Peachtree Ridge.
407 yards and 4 touchdowns receiving as a junior a year ago. Antenor. Couple of yards on the play for Antenor. Robbie Armstrong, the anchor, making the tackle. At least he was the first guy to hit him.
Talked about Gibbs. Here he is talking to the coaches. Helmet off. Hitting the knee on that play. Walked off in his own power. But you wonder now if we see him again here in the game. He's not coming in this series, that's for sure.
Thrasher, keeper. Thrasher slides, knocked down at the 35-yard line. Daquan Smith making the tackle. Close to a 1st down for Thrasher. And he's a little shaken up.
And he took watch this little elbow to the head here. It was incidental contact. That's why there's no flags. He's in the slide.
Wow. Little wake-up call right there for Chance Thrasher.
That could have been called.
Third down and short coming up here for the Lions.
Dylan Singleton there on that play.
And now a timeout's going to be called.
Peachtree Ridge, I believe, is going to call this. And it is Peachtree Ridge making the call.
Well, a year ago, the Archer Tigers ran the table during the regular season. They are 1 quarter away from being 0-2 to start this one with a couple of really tough opponents. Right off the top, Sandy Creek and Peachtree Ridge. They get to catch their breath a little bit next week. They'll be off. Then they've got Grayson, and then another off week, and then Parkview.
Well, I tell you what, you don't see those kind of 2 bye weeks, if you will, in September very often, but there's no one that's going to enjoy it more than Andy Dyer to get his guys healthy. As we talked about the injuries coming into the game, those we've seen tonight, some very key players for this Archer team on both sides of the ball.
Their region schedule basically flipped upside down from a year ago. Last year they opened their region schedule with Brookwood. They will close their regular season schedule with Brookwood this season. They won every one of their region games by at least 13 points, except their 25-20 region opening win against Brookwood last September. But it's been a little bit different story this year. In fact, Andy Dyer told us they're calling this team Team 6, as in the 6th team in program history. 11-1, great, but every year brings new players, a different team. You got to create your own identity. So He's tried to stress the point and drive the point home to his team that you can't live off of last year's success. And they're 12 minutes away or thereabouts, 13 minutes away from their second loss, and they didn't even have 2 losses all of last year. 3rd and short following the timeout. And Staples is close to the first down, maybe a little bit short.
They're going to mark him just short. We'll see. That right now he's maybe about a half yard short. But, you know, to your point, not only with Coach Dyer and this Archer team, but he's a guy also replacing 4 or 5 starters on each side of the ball. You take those losses to graduation, and then again the key players lost. And it's been a very tough start in a lot of ways right now for Archer.
4th down and 1. Peachtree Ridge being very judicious with the clock here, running it all the way down and finally snaps it. Handoff, didn't get the first down. Robbie Armstrong crashed through the offensive line, got the penetration, and kept Peachtree Ridge from coming up with the first down.
Archer, once again, the defense. We've talked about Peachtree Ridge and its offense this entire night and what they've been able to do in these second and third quarters, second quarter especially. But I tell you what, this third quarter, they have come in, they have bent, they have not broken, and they've kept this at a 14-0 game. If nothing else, this Archer team showing great heart right now and throwing everything right back at Peachtree Ridge. The thing is, again, on offense, can they get it going?
That was a huge play by Robbie Armstrong on defense to prevent the first down. So again, Archer comes up with a big defensive play. Peachtree Ridge has basically set up residence on the Archer side of the 50-yard line since the second quarter, but they have not yet scored. 3 times inside the 50, and they have come up empty. That is the end of the third quarter. Archer needs a little bit more than that from Randy Nails. As we head to the 4th, Tigers are down 2 touchdowns.
Today, companies in the aerospace, advanced manufacturing, and film industries need skilled workers, and the earning potential is high. Go Build Georgia can show you where the jobs are and what skills you need to get them. And the Technical College System of Georgia has fast, affordable training for these great-paying careers. Build your blueprint for success at GoBuildGeorgia.com and look to the Technical College System of Georgia to put your plan into action.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you. Cigna.
This is 88.5 FM, Atlanta's news source for your news and information.
Good morning. Let's start the conversation. What's on your mind, Atlanta? We want to hear from you.
The news and information you've been looking for is here on 88.5.
From Peachtree City to Piedmont Park, from Norcross to Decatur, GPB Atlanta is the source for stories from your community.
All news, all information, all day.
Sometimes, inspiration comes in the most unusual way. Enter GPB's video contest. You could win a cash prize and make a difference. How can you help stop the drop?
Communities under siege.
It was like a scene out of a horror movie.
From polar peril.
A Churchill man attacked by a polar bear.
To great white worries.
Whoa.
And the croc attack capital of the world.
Come out of the water.
When protected species attack, what do we do? Mark Evans is on a mission.
You cannot imagine how terrifying that would be.
To detect and deter.
It's time for us to get out of here.
Before it's too late. Operation Maneater.
On Y Wednesday at 10, only on GPB.
Welcome back to the Ridge. Final 12 minutes about to go. Peachtree Ridge up 14-0 over Archer. And there's only one guy on the sidelines right now for Peachtree Ridge that's not wearing his shoulder pads and his jersey. It's D'Angelo Gibbs. Matt and Larry, in between the quarter break, he took it off, and they applied the baggie with the ice to the right knee. So I think it's safe to say that he is done for the night. And he also took some time, I'm sure, to call his mom in the break, which was nice. Just a reminder, hey, everything's okay. I'm good. I'm just not going to play this fourth quarter. We're winning. Everything's cool. Let's send it back upstairs to you for the start of the final. 12 minutes, guys.
Calling his mom or his agent, or they may be one and the same. I'm not sure. 5 catches for 125 for Gibbs tonight. That's if Archer has a reason to smile going into the fourth quarter, that's one right there that Gibbs might be out of the ballgame.
Well, he's a big piece of both their touchdowns, and they haven't scored since.
Now they've got to generate some offense, and they've had a hard time doing that thus far. Matt Bell on the tackle after the carry by Will Bearden, the quarterback.
I think maybe Gibbs was ordering pizza or a cab.
Maybe he was downloading the GPB app.
That's right.
Although he wouldn't have the phone to his ear if he was doing that. Now, no, would he? 3rd down. Ball at the 41. Kyle Davis, the intended receiver, kind of the forgotten man in this offense tonight. Just got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Kyle Davis. He's the number 13 junior athlete in the country. You got to find a way to get him that ball. They're trying to it right there.
Yeah, just a junior. He talked before. I think it's the first time they've thrown in his direction. Well, they did try the pass before.
He committed to South Carolina back in the summer prior to the start of his junior season. Said that one of the reasons he chose the Gamecocks because Coach Spurrier puts guys in the league.
Well, he's got a good one up there in Chicago and Alshon Jeffrey.
Tiller, another poor punt off the side of the foot. Tiller, who is battling a shoulder injury, actually came out and started punting the ball well tonight, but his last couple of punts have been real stinkers.
And that ache has gone
That's
south.
A 3-yard punt officially.
Wow.
This September, GPB brings you an all-new Ken Burns special, The Roosevelts, An Intimate History, which chronicles the lives of Theodore, Franklin, and Eleanor Roosevelt, 3 members of the most prominent and influential family in American politics. The series encompasses the history the Roosevelts helped to shape our national parks, the Panama Canal, the innovative New Deal programs, the defeat of Hitler and Nazi Germany, and the post-war struggles for civil rights. Don't miss this 7-part film premiering Sunday, September 14th at 8 o'clock and airing all week long.
Thrasher with the keeper right there. Mentioned last year, 18 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. As we've talked before, he may increase those numbers with Gibbs coming on and having such a strong game before he went out with the injury here.
It's a lateral to Anthonor. Anthonor picks up the first down.
You know, we talked about Gibbs being out, but the good news is Hayward is coming. He is in the game right now for Peachtree Ridge. One more look at this again. Nice concentration by Anthonor with the defender coming on strong and turned what could have been nothing into a nice game for the Lions.
I think they're going to put that one in the books as a completed pass. So a first down for Peachtree Ridge at the 33-yard line. This Archer defense has been in their own territory with their back to their goal line the entire night. Intercepted. Aramis Bryant. Or are they going to rule that it hit the ground? They're going to rule that it hit the ground.
That was close. That was really close. Aramis Bryant, watch this here. Right in and out of the hands of Hayward.
He tried his best to sell it.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10.
I bought it, but my eyes aren't very good. Yeah, it was close. Yeah, good call.
Thrasher trying to get outside. And Thrasher gets inside the 30, down to the 27, and he picks up 6 on the play.
I can see why Coach Fleetwood really likes his senior quarterback. We talked about, again, the work ethic as we talked in the pregame. It's a young man that really, after last year, again, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, said, you know, I didn't play very well. Took it upon himself to not only put on more weight, up to almost 220, but again, to really kind of step up in all facets of the game. And it looks like it's going to pay off big this season for Thrasher.
3rd down, and off the hands of Tyler Campbell. Campbell has failed to come up with a couple of them tonight that were in his hands, and now it's 4th down. I bet they're going for it here. 4th and 4 coming up from the 27, probably out of your field goal range, or comfortable field goal range, that is. And they'll go for it here. Play blown dead. 5-yard penalty, false start against Peachtree Ridge will turn this 4th and 4 into a 4th and 9. And now they bring out Zaniel Phillips. And they're going to punt.
Archer holding again. Peachtree Ridge, that offense not quite as potent without D'Angelo Gibbs in uniform.
Now the last thing you want to do is punt this to the receiver down at the 10-yard line, and Phillips has the punt blocked after he fumbled it. Ball is still loose, and it's picked up by Archer. And Nick Blakely's got to outrun the field, and he's going to do it. Touchdown.
Boy, what a big play right there. 57 yards on the fumble return. You know, the one thing, you were right, you don't want to kick it to the receiver. The one worst thing you could do, Matt,
is have it blocked.
Would have it blocked, fumble the snap, and then have it blocked. All of a sudden, it's a game changer, and Archer's back in this contest. Just one more look at it as we go through. Again, this is Nick Blakely, the junior. Plays both ways for this team, but that's just Daniel, who, again, fumbles it. The snap is right in his hands, couldn't come up with it. Ball is loose, and he's off to the races. Only one guy had a shot at him. It's right there. He wasn't going to catch it. Nick Blakely putting Archer on the board, and boy, with an offense that's really struggled the entire night now, Archer, after this kick, just one touchdown behind Peachtree Ridge. What a turn of events in these last few seconds here in Suwanee.
Nick Blakely, the 57-yard return. Phillips fumbled it. The TCSG replay. Nick Blakely to the house.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Believe in yourself. We do. Go you, Cigna.
Georgia cotton farmers want you to know cotton is grown in 91 Georgia counties on over 1 million acres. Cotton makes a $2.5 billion economic impact and accounts for over 15,000 jobs in Georgia. Cotton's innovative production has lowered water use per pound of cotton by 75% since 1980. One bale of cotton can make 215 pairs of denim jeans or 700 towels. Cotton is a natural choice for Georgia.
9:38 to play, and Archer back in the ball game following a big special teams play by Nick Blakely as he picked up the blocked kick, the blocked punt attempt, and took it 57 yards for the touchdown. And it's now 14-7. So while the Archer offense has failed to generate much, the special teams comes through in a big way, Larry, to cut the lead in half.
Yeah, they really do. Blakely right there, opportunistic, making this happen. And we've talked going into the break again how this offense, they can't get anything going. The Peachtree defense has really shut down the big star for Archer, Kyle Davis. He's been silent this entire for a second half. But then again, it just takes one play, and just like that, your defense keeps holding. They keep bending and bending, not breaking. When you do that, you can make one moment, get you back in the game, and all of a sudden now they've got a shot.
Yeah, Mark Fleetwood would like a do-over instead of punting from the 32. He'd now just like to go for it and take a knee.
That's right.
Let's check in with Grace.
Thanks, Matt. What a score by Archer right there. But Peachtree Ridge has been looking pretty dominant all game long, and they were in the 2008 season as well when they made it to the finals. But they lost, and we asked you earlier, which team did they lose to in the state championship that year in 2008 on social media, and our winner was Lauren Mulligan. She answered the call saying that they lost to Camden County 21. Camden County beat them 21-14. So Lauren, consider yourself part of the team. Gonna send you a GPB Football Fridays in Georgia t-shirt for you to sport all season long. Back up to you guys.
All right, Grace, and that Peachtree Ridge team was coached by our good friend Bill Ballard. They made it to the finals that year. In fact, record-wise, that was the greatest season in Peachtree Ridge history. They went 12-3 that year, losing to Camden County in the finals of 2008. Time now for our kickoff, brought to you by GoBuildGeorgia.com. Learn a skill, build a career, do it now at GoBuildGeorgia.com.
You can just sense the renewed enthusiasm even from up here in the press box from the Archer sideline after that touchdown.
Wow, booming kickoff. Sails through the back of the end zone. So now let's see what Archer, with this renewed enthusiasm, can do defensively. If they can get a quick 3 and out here by Peachtree Ridge and maybe get good field position for their offense. That's one of the problems for the Archer offense tonight, is they've been backed up in their own end all night.
Yeah, they have. They can make it stop here and maybe, again, get it, like you said, in better field position. They're able to get some runs out of Nails, but just can't get the passing game going.
Well, remember, last week, Nails had 96 of his 108 yards rushing in the fourth quarter. He's at 62 yards on 11 carries so far here tonight. Nearly half of that came on 1 carry.
And to your point, a lot of time left, Matt, as we're talking here in the break.
Pass thrown at the feet of Malik Robinson. That's an incomplete. And you see Dylan Bliss, who had gone to the sideline earlier. Now he's shaken up again. He had hurt that ankle earlier. Remember John telling us that they'd taped that ankle up heavily, and it looks like he might have hurt that ankle again.
Yeah, and he's coming out of the game now.
So 2nd down and 10, we'll track him. Quinn Miller is still out of the ball game, so we've had a number of players go down here tonight. Tyler Campbell, nowhere to go.
If this is where right now, again, Peachtree City, you sense the momentum changing after that, or Peachtree Ridge, I'm sorry. You sense the momentum changing after that special teams touchdown by Archer. This was an offense that was in control, but at the same time, they haven't been able to make anything happen right now.
Yeah, it's really funny how you take the threat of D'Angelo Gibbs out of the offense, and
yeah,
Peachtree Ridge looks a lot more ordinary, don't they?
They really do.
I mean, you don't have to go to him every time. Just the threat of him being on the field is enough. They go for the home run, and Chad Clay is unable to run under it. We're also told that Bliss did not re-injure his ankle. He got hit in the shin on that play 3 plays ago, and that's why he went to the sideline. But a quick 3 and out. This is what we just talked about.
Yep.
And Peachtree Ridge is going to have to give it up and punt out of their own end, and Bliss is coming back in. But a great chance here for Archer to have tremendous field position, still with a lot of time left in the fourth quarter, as their returner, Jemias Williams, is standing near the 50.
When Williams again got burned on a couple of those plays trying to defend Gibbs, and the great matchup we're looking forward to. Let's see what kind of big play he can make here.
Got a chance to return it, but he fumbles it at the 45 and then picks it up. That might be just what he needed. and he turns it into a nice return to the 42. So often you see that happen after a fumble, and Jamias Williams is hurt on the play too. But so often you see that happen after a fumble, the pursuit gets too deep, and he's able to get around it.
Well, and the defenders too, they change momentum. They're looking around. It changes the trajectory of everything the defense is trying to do, the angle of everything they're trying to do, the tacklers. And then you practice and you're ready to go for the guy, but you've got to slow down and change speed to go after the ball. He's got the advantage. The ball bounces right to him like it did then. Turn it into a pretty good game.
That was an 18-yard return by Jamias Williams, who has helped to the sideline. And we'll check his status as soon as we can, but that gives Archer the ball at the 41, a touchdown down with 8.5 minutes to play, and the ball at the Peachtree Ridge 41, and a timeout's been called on the field.
Well, there's one other injury, as you can see there on the Peachtree side. Number 18, Joe Smith, also was shaken up in that play. His helmet is off. He just walked off under his own power. I see a flag on the play, too. I'm not sure what that is. There's a flag laying right at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, the officials are talking about something there at the 29.
Something happened, but Joe Smith goes down, and keep in mind, Smith right now, he's a veteran in that defensive, one of the safeties back there, the 6'1 senior. He's been big as we watched as Bearden, the quarterback now, as we watch one more look at this. Let's see number 18, see what happens. After the play, let's see what happens. There's Williams going down.
Oh, wow,
that's
what the flag is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gibbs got blindsided.
And I tell you what, for Archer, Andy Dyer, when he sees that, he's going to be livid. Okay, so offsetting, so holding on one side, the personal foul, targeting foul on the other side, so offsetting penalties. I got to tell you what, Archer really caught a break on that one.
Yeah. So they're going to make him punt again. So this time with Jamias Williams going to the bench with his injury, Jeremiah Nails will be back to return the punt.
Boy, what a tough play if you're the Archer coaching staff. You work so hard, and one player take you out of really good, the best field position you've started with the entire night.
Nails will take it at the 50, and Nails will get it back to about where they would have had it originally. So it's a wash in the end, as Archer will take over at the 42, following the 8-yard return by Jeremiah Nails.
Watch and see as well if we see Jamias Williams come back out. Went down on that play, kind of holding his back a little bit. And will we see Smith? Smith is still out as well after getting popped in the head, right in the chin with the helmet. He's the medical staff here looking at him right here in the near sideline. He's out of the game. That's a big loss for the Peachtree City secondary.
Yeah,
Peachtree
Tyler
Ridge.
Murphy is now taken over at free safety, playing the deep center field. And the run there by Nails gets close to the first down. Let's see where they spot it. They'll put it down at the 35, so about an 8-yard, maybe a 7-yard pickup for Randy Nails. Andy Dyer was really complimentary of Randy Nails last week and the adjustments that he was able to make after missing some of his reads in that first half against Sandy Creek, running the ball so much better. The toss goes to the outside, and Dylan Singleton picks up the first down, running out of bounds at the 25.
It was a nice play. First down right there, nice play again. We've only seen a couple of option plays out of this offense, but this is great. Bearden holding to that's the way you want to do it.
Yep.
To the very final moment, he had 2 defenders on him, gets it out, they get the first down.
Ball at the 27. Under 8 minutes to play, and Archer driving for what they hope is a tying touchdown. Singleton again, spin move in the middle, and Singleton, nice run. Murphy making the tackle, but Singleton inside the 20.
Well, again, this is just a different ball game right now. It's amazing how the tide has changed. Nice move here. Great blocking inside. Great spin move to free himself up. That's 33 right there. That's Murphy, Tyler Murphy. He's the player who replaced Joe Smith after his injury.
First down carry for Archer. Singleton again, as they're giving them a steady diet of Dylan Singleton right here. Singleton, as a sophomore last year, much more involved in the pass game than the run game, but a nice prospect that 24/7 Sports Composite has ranked as the number 25 junior cornerback in the nation. Helping him out here on offense here in this fourth quarter. And there's Jamias Williams back in the ball game, and Williams driving inside the 5-yard line, unable to keep his feet to get to the pylon, but it's going to be a 1st and goal to go, but a flag down on the field.
Yeah, best drive Archer has had. The question is, who's the flag against? I didn't see what happened. It's a holding
against Archer.
Boy, that's tough. Instead of 1st and goal inside the 5, they're marching all the way back to the 24. That's a big penalty.
That's the first penalty against Archer in this half.
Watch this right here. Thinks he's got him.
Bearden behind the back, fumbled the ball. He did the same thing last week against Sandy Creek. He did that behind the back move and completed a pass. It's a very dangerous thing to do, and you see why. He nearly lost a fumble.
Yeah, this was really close. He's right there. Yeah.
That's better to do that on the basketball court on a dribble and not on the football field trying to elude a tackler.
Son, don't ever do that again.
Williams, nothing out there. And he gets dropped at the 22-yard line by Breon Dixon. And now it's going to be 3rd down and a long way to go. They got to get to the 6 for a first.
One more look at it. Nice job there by Beard. An athletic move just to corral that snap.
Under 6 minutes to play. Bearden all kinds of time, throws, and incomplete. Flags come out. Zay Lissette came over the back of Austin Arnold. Looks like the penalty is going to be on Lissette. Got a lot of reserves out there. Lissette's a backup Buck linebacker. A lot of reserves out there right now, no doubt because of the heat and because of injuries that have taken their toll in this game.
We talked about Smith, the safety again that's been so key in holding down this passing and offense by Archer. No surprise there in the call. Have to listen to the goal. One more look at it. You make the call, number 28. Was he there early? Looks like he was there, regardless of what we think. Ball has moved halfway to the goal.
Ball at the 11.
No first down.
3rd down and 6. It was a half a distance to the goal penalty. Wow. Great penetration. That was Zay Lissette making up for his penalty right there. And then Breon Dixon came in there and cleaned it up. It was number 28, Zay Lissette, who had been called for the penalty on the play prior, who got the penetration and blew up that play. And now it's going to be 4th down. And they're going to bring out the field goal unit right here.
Kind of surprised by that. One more look at this. Again, nails. You guys mentioned Lissette's there, the first one. Dixon. A 30-yard field goal coming up here. I don't quite understand this, Matt.
Here's Cole Fisher. Kick is on its way, and the kick is going to be good. A 30-yard field goal by Cole Fisher cuts it to 14-10, but Archer still needs a touchdown with 5 minutes now and less than that to play here in Suwanee, Georgia.
Football Fridays in Georgia on GPB is made possible in part by Regions Bank. It's time to expect more. Georgia's Electric Membership Corporation, lighting the way. Technical College System of Georgia, learn more, earn more. Cigna, go you. And viewers like you, thank you.
This moment, getting here took 3 years of sleepless nights and postponed vacations. Your dad said play it safe. Your husband kept the faith. But franchising is why you partnered with Regions in the first place. We share your vision for moving forward. And at moments like this,
Hi, Steve.
that makes all the difference. Is your business at a turning point? Regions.
At the heart of our community are the businesses that don't skip a beat. Georgia's electric membership cooperatives stand behind local commerce. Whether keeping farms running or shining a light on new ventures, we bring business, large and small, to our communities. Creating jobs, driving development, supporting dreams. Georgia's EMCs, powering our businesses, lighting the way.
4:52 to play in regulation. Peachtree Ridge leading Archer 14-10 following the 30-yard field goal by Cole Fisher. Matt Stewart, Larry Smith, John Nelson, and D'Angelo Gibbs. That's not a good sign there as they look like they're kind of exploring the flexibility and mobility in that right knee.
Well, it's a concern too because earlier, we were saying before he hadn't come back in the game. They kind of left him alone for a while. And now they're back to kind of working on it, doing some testing and things. So,
and we've already had too many of Georgia's high school football stars go down early in the season. Taj Griffin for McEachern just last week. And now Archer will kick off following the field goal by Fisher, and he'll boom it. Non-returnable.
Well, I tell you what, going for the field goal there, Andy Dyer putting a lot of faith in his defense. That's really done outside of two long plays made by Gibbs. They've really done a great job tonight. And with, as we mentioned before, with Gibbs out of the game right now for Peachtree Ridge, it's a different ball game. We just saw Archer's defense force a 3-and-out. He's telling them, listen, go do that again. We've got a chance to win this game. When it looked like that things are really tough, it almost could have been a 17 or a 24-0 game halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, they're still going to have to get the ball in the end zone. The difference, of course, being is if they do it now, then they win the game and not tie it. So Thrasher back in there at quarterback, only 6 of 13 for 33 yards prior to that completion right there. And Tyler Campbell gets thrown to the ground immediately by Nick Blakely, who scored on the 57-yard block kick return for Archer here in this second half. Let's go down to John Nelson.
All right, here's your D'Angelo Gibbs update. We did have confirmation that he did call his mother. The video that we showed earlier, that was a phone call to his mom because he had to assure her that he was okay. He said it's just sprained or strained. There's no ACL, MCL damage. So what they're just trying to do is keep him moving because obviously if you stand still with that ice on that sore knee, it's going to stiffen up, and that's what they're trying to prevent. I got a Joe Smith update in a bit.
Okay. Arnold, first down catch. Pardon me, Christian Sutton. Christian Sutton with the first down catch. Sutton's got 3 grabs in this ball game.
Yeah, Sutton's one of those guys. Seeing more from him, more from other guys too. But he's the main guy we're seeing in there. Nice play there by the sophomore.
Now Antonor.
Antinor, again, if you're just joining us, his jersey torn up by one of the defenders for Archer. Wouldn't let go of it on a run. Now wearing number 24 instead. Big run here is a couple of big plays back-to-back. We're seeing some of the younger guys, not just the senior there, but also Christian Sutton, that last catch. We've seen Dondre Sanderson also, a couple of younger players really getting into this. Sutton's a junior, Sanderson a sophomore, but again, with some of the injuries that they've experienced now on this offense, some other players getting a chance to step up and make some plays for this Lions team.
Antinor now at 100 yards rushing tonight on 22 carries and goes over 100 with that carry right there. You see them trying to strip the ball. A.J. Sweat had his hands on the football trying to rip it out of there, and that's what Archer is now. They've kind of down to that now. They've got to find a way to get that ball back.
Ticking down now toward the 3-minute mark, and you can see Peachtree Ridge in no hurry to snap the ball. They're taking their sweet time, letting that clock run down. Archer's going to have to think about taking some timeouts here pretty quickly.
17 first downs now for Peachtree Ridge tonight, compared to only 6 for Archer. Antinor, big hole, and he gallops through the defense and finally brought down at the 20. Nassim Antinor with a 26-yard run and a big first down for Peachtree Ridge.
Yeah, watch here. Great move there by the line again. Little switch. They bring the tackle out. Antinor, great speed. He hits the hole. What a big night for him, the senior, getting his first start here in the opening night.
And now a timeout called by Archer, as we are now under 3 minutes to play and Peachtree Ridge leading 14-10, and the Lions trying to nail this one shut. Stick around. Coming up immediately following the conclusion of the game, our post-game show. Mark Harmon will have scores from around the state, bring you up to date on what's happening in this first full weekend of high school football. A lot of teams started last week, but this is really the first full weekend of high school football in the state of Georgia.
A lot of action all over the place. Fun to watch some of the games last week, some of the early contests. But this has been exciting tonight. You know, I think the concern for both teams, injuries. Gibbs, Joe Smith for Peachtree Ridge. And of course, Archer really banged up coming in, and some more injuries tonight. And as we mentioned before, 2 off weeks in September. That'll be really welcomed by Coach Dyer as he tries to get his guys healthy.
First ever meeting between these two Gwinnett County teams. They play in opposite regions, even though they are here in Gwinnett County. Archer out of Region 8, the champions of Region 8 a year ago. Peachtree Ridge out of Region 7. 1st and 10 for the Lions. And more Antinor. Robbie Armstrong grabs him and throws him to the ground. But the Lions are happy with that. They just want to run clock right now.
Archer still with 2 timeouts. Good look at Antinor.
25 carries for Antinor tonight. He has picked up where Jordan Ellis left off. Much different back. Ellis was more of a between the tackles guy, although Antinor has shown the ability to go between the tackles, but he's a guy that they feel like can do some more damage for them out on the perimeter. You see Armstrong again making the tackle, but Peachtree Ridge just playing kill the clock right now. 3rd and 10.
Trying to close out a win. Well played game on both ends. There's still a lot to work on. It is early in the season. But you take a win when you can get it, and that's what Peachtree Ridge is trying to close out right now with 90 seconds to go.
3rd down. Thrasher throws. Nice catch. Look at him thread the needle and right into the hands of Malik Robinson. That's a 1st down, and that's a backbreaker right there. 16-yard completion.
Well, I tell you what, this kid, I'm really impressed with Thrasher. He threw that play, and I went, wow, really? You want to do this? You sure you want to do this? Watch him thread the needle here. Again, he's had great protection all night, but that's just a timing play, and that's just guys out in the summer working on their own on a timing play right there.
Unfortunately, it's going to come back. Their penalty called on Peachtree Ridge. Wow. I mean, he threw it in double coverage right between two guys.
Yeah, right over one guy's helmet. Right over his shoulder.
Goes for naught with the 5-yard mark off. So now it's going to be 3rd and 15 from the 25. But it does eat up more time. And that's what Peachtree Ridge is most concerned about here.
You'll see that play in his huddle reel.
Absolutely.
That pass, are you kidding me? It's a nice throw. Chance Thrasher talked about the work ethic, challenged himself in the offseason.
Yeah, he's up to 194 yards passing tonight, 15 of 30, with a 25-yard touchdown to D'Angelo Gibbs and then a 7-yard touchdown run for himself.
Peachtree Ridge now calling a timeout, it looks like. No,
Archer.
Archer calling a timeout. There we go. You saw Coach Fleetwood say, they called it, we didn't.
We don't want the timeout.
Right. We want to get this thing going.
So time running out on Andy Dyer's Archer Tigers, as they are on the verge of falling to 0-2 on the season after going 11-1 last year. GPB Sports is all over social media. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to be a part of the GPB Sports family. Follow us throughout the day to see interviews with fans and parents. Check out the cool fan pics we post all day. Also follow GPB Sports all season long so you can keep up with all the news in high school sports. Like and follow us now. That's GPB Sports on Facebook and Instagram, and at GPB Sports on Twitter.
You know, one thing Mark Fleetwood told us before the game, Matt, we were talking to him, he said, you know, the one thing that he knew was that he said our kids believe in themselves. They had a lot of holes to fill through graduation from last year, but he said, you know, they're confident. They're not worried about that Archer's already played a game. And as again, both coaching staffs and both teams have things to work on, as this is still early. We're just now the end of August. I think that he's going to be happy about his team efforts, and I think at the same time, even Archer. Number of mistakes, number of things to get right, but this is a team that has never given up and still a chance here with 1:11 left.
3rd down and long, and Peachtree Ridge going to the air. Oh, what a catch, and he could not hold on to it. That was Malik Robinson. He almost made a spectacular catch. That was very interesting, though, that they went for the pass completion right there and didn't just run the ball and kill clock, because now it's 4th down. And that almost guarantees that Archer is going to get the ball back.
If you kick a field goal, even if you make it, you still get the ball back. You're right, with about a minute left and a chance to see if you can get down the field.
I don't think they're going to try any kicking. The last time they were kind of in this position and tried to kick, they had the punt blocked. They've had 2 kicks blocked, a field goal attempt, and a punt blocked in this ball game tonight. So they will not. They will, on 4th and 15, go for it. And go to the air, and it is caught. No, ball out, incomplete. Again, Malik Robinson looked like he had it, and Archer comes up with a big play on defense, and they've got one last chance with 58 seconds left in this game.
Well, I tell you what, this defense, if Archer doesn't win the game, it's not because their defense let them down. They've done a great job the entire night of just being there and making the plays right when they have to. Throws it here into, you see quadruple coverage. Almost comes up with it. That was almost a great play right there by Robinson.
That was Frank Finch, the Sam linebacker. And if Archer comes back and wins this game, Peachtree Ridge might find themselves questioning why they threw the ball on consecutive downs when running the ball would have killed the clock.
Yeah, I agree. Now you've got a lot of time.
Bearden to the air and incomplete. Breon Dixon on the coverage. The pass intended for Austin Arnold.
Now, we talked about earlier, Matt, that Joe Smith, the star safety, was out of the game. He's back in the game now. Whatever his injury concern was is past. He's back in the game. That's big. That's very key for them. He's done a great job of batting down any long pass attempts by Archer.
2nd down and 10. Kyle Davis falling down, lost his balance. That would have been a completion, but he lost his footing out there. And now it's 3rd down.
And a completion for a 1st down.
So let's put this in perspective. We're asking an Archer offense to go 75 yards in 49 seconds. They have 6 first downs the entire game. Not saying it's impossible. Nice catch. especially when you got guys like Jamias Williams and Kyle Davis. Clock stops to move the chains. Ball up to the 41.
And Jace Capps, a linebacker, right behind him, couldn't catch up. That's great concentration by Williams to make the catch on a tough ball. And a first down keeps this drive alive.
Clock moving again. Bearden again over the hands of Kyle Davis. Second down.
I love the attitude. I really do. This Archer team not giving up. They've got a shot at it. Everyone's dialed in.
Down to 35 seconds.
And they lined up without the ball.
59 yards away, ball at the 41. There was a bump there, and there's the flag. Aramis Bryant, the intended receiver, Breon Dixon, bumped him at the 50.
And this was pretty obvious. You know, all of a sudden we've talked about the lack of first downs, but all of a sudden you're in Peachtree Ridge territory. Still 30 seconds to go. Anything's possible here.
Ball at the 44. First and 10. 30 seconds to play. Archer down 4, trying to pull off a dramatic comeback victory. Bearden all kinds of time. Now in trouble, gets away from it, and he doesn't this time. He's dropped at the 49-yard line.
Great coverage there by the secondary. He had nowhere to go with that.
Clock is running. And they'll clock it, or try to. Did they clock it or fumble it?
Next, the clock is, and the clock is running. The clock here, the scoreboard is running, and
instead of clocking the ball, apparently he just took a knee, and that's the end of the game. You gotta clock it here. You can't take a knee.
Oh, it's fumbled.
No, he just fumbled the ball.
Never got
he
the
never
ball.
had the ball. And that's it.
And nobody called a timeout.
Wow. Peachtree Ridge holds on for a 14-10 victory. And the Lions win this first ever meeting against the Archer Tigers. And the Tigers, 11-1 a year ago, have started 2014 0-2. Big story of the game, no doubt, Larry Smith, D'Angelo Gibbs, and what he was able to do when he was in the ball game. And also the other flip side of the story is now, how injured is he?
Right, and going forward, exactly what will he be able to help you out? Will he miss any games? That's the concern going into this week. He's an outstanding talent. Give Peachtree Ridge credit to actually be able to get this win, even though their big star was out most of the second half.
All right, now down to John Nelson as the kids run onto the field to celebrate.
Thanks, Matt. I'm going to directly quote you. That was a gut check for you in the second half.
Yeah, it really was. And we played really hard. We made a mistake there in our kicking game and then gave them a little bit of momentum to get back in it. But I tell you what, with as much youth as we have on our team and the way they hung in there and didn't fall right there, it was really good. And we got a lot of work to do. That's a really good team right there. Baby! And they had some players that were injured in there, but I'm proud of our guys because the way we fought, we second half was a test for us, and we could have faulted right there at the end, and we didn't.
You know, you talk about everything that's gone on that first 24 minutes. It was great, and you're just hanging on and hanging on and hanging on there at the end. But it says a lot of things about the program, even after a first game.
Well, these kids have worked really hard, and just as much work. It starts back in January, and here you're playing a team like Archer, who was 12-1. They won 12 games before they lost one last year. They're ranked in the top 2 or 3, and so I'm proud. We got a lot of work to do, though, and so enjoy this one. And
for a minute.
Just for a second, and then here we go again.
Congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thank you, sir.
All right. That's the celebration. Post-game show starts right now.
Thank you very much, John Nelson. What a great way to kick off our 4th season of Football Fridays in Georgia. A great way to kick off the 2014 season as the Peachtree Ridge Lions knock off the Archer Tigers 14-10. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one. And early on, it was Peachtree Ridge taking the lead. No score in the first quarter, so we picked things up in the second quarter. It is Chance Thrasher going 25 yards to D'Angelo Gibbs, who makes a nice catch there, makes it 7-0. Long pass now down to the 1-yard line. Number 8 again, D'Angelo Gibbs down to the 1-yard line. That set up the second touchdown. Chance Thrasher, he hangs on to it. Number 9 for the quick 6. And it's 14-0 Peachtree Ridge at the half and at the end of the third quarter. And then look what happens in the fourth quarter. The block punt. Nick Blakely picks it up by Archer. He rumbles 57 yards for the touchdown. This made it 14-7. Archer would add a field goal to make it 14-10, but that's your story. Peachtree Ridge opens up the season with the win, knocking off Archer 14-10. Let's now check in with John Nelson and one of the stars of the game.
Thank you, Mark. Here with Nassim Antonor, who started out as 20, finished as 24. What happened there with that Earl Campbell tearaway?
Sir, I don't even know. I was running the ball. I felt a tug. I kept chopping my feet, and I just went down. I see my whole jersey's on the floor. I was like, what? I was surprised. So, yeah.
So let's talk about this, half at a time. You come out the first half, you come out to a 14-0 lead. You were working the edges really well, and you were carrying the rock like you needed to.
Yes, sir. Well, my coaches taught me well. My father taught me well, too, so I just run the ball like we needed to. And we needed this W because people doubt us, and I want to get this W. It meant a lot to me.
Second half, though, it turned into a bit of a gut check, but it says a lot about you guys coming out of the blocks, though, yeah?
Yes, sir. We're a very tough team. We don't fall under pressure. I'm actually glad that we worked harder than actually getting frustrated and just letting down. But we kept our cool. We kept going.
All right, well, thanks, Nassim, for your time. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I just got sirred like 9 times in an interview, Mark. I'll see you in a sec.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. Grace Olson, our social media correspondent, is here. And Grace, any Couch Gators for game 1 of the season?
We did have some Couch Gators tonight. We have a lot of people watching at home, and well, it was Labor Day. We still got people tweeting, and we had Gage Knipes tweeting us saying, love watching Friday Night Football at GBB Sports in my apartment. And there's the photo of him watching in his apartment. So for all of you Couch Gators all season long, we want you to be sending us your photos of wherever you're watching. And we also loaded tons of photos on Instagram and videos on Twitter, on Facebook. There are so many behind-the-scenes moments and little moments we captured that you don't quite see on TV. So make sure to go to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to check those out and tag anybody you know. So let's send it back to Mark.
Grace, you've been very busy on the World Wide Web. Good job as always.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, that's it from Football Fridays in Georgia. Next week, GPB will be at Milton High School, where the Eagles will host the 2-time defending 6A state champion Blue Devils of Norcross. The All-Access Pass kicks off at 7 p.m., with the game kicking off at 7:30 with Chuck Smith and Larry Smith with the call. So for all of us here at GPB Sports, thanks for joining us on our first Football Fridays in Georgia of the year. We've got you covered every single Friday night all the way to the state championship games in December. So for all of us here at Peachtree Ridge High School, thank you for watching us. Say goodnight, Gracie.
So long, everybody.
Or good night, Gracie.
Or good night.